What is up? What is up, folks? How is everybody doing tonight? We have finally, he's arisen from the dead, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm back. I'm back.
we got, we got, we got Greg back in house. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, attorney Greg Lake.
Hey, Jack
Oh
says
God,
hello
he's
to
got his
everybody.
puppy.
Yeah, Jack says hello. Shadow says
I know
hello, but
Miss
she's on the
Debbie and
ground.
Miss
She's
Susan
playing.
appreciated that one.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Miss Susan. It's good to see everybody. I've been super busy last few weeks for work, but I'm going to try to get back to a normal schedule. But
I
always
told
good to
him you were
be
still
here.
alive, but you just
Yeah,
had a lot of
I've
stuff
been
going.
kicking. This is my anchor point. This is my anchor point. So it's good to be here.
Always can come back whenever you. But maybe you can get back on an actual schedule. But yeah, we're here anytime. So
Yeah, well, I wanted to accommodate you and John Bray, last Friday. So, dude, yeah,
yeah,
all good, man.
yeah. He Fridays tend to work out the best for him, and
Yeah.
so yeah, every now and then I don't know. Like I said, I know you've had a lot going on, and we'll get back to it. Let's see
Yeah.
who we got in the chat real quick before we
Yeah,
fire
man.
this off. We got Miss Debbie Smith, of course. So good to see you. I think she said she was going to hang out in your chat more because
Yeah,
she wasn't sure if you'd have a moderator or
she
not. So
did. She sent me a couple supers. Thank you so much, Debbie. God bless. It's good to see everybody. Sure, it really
yes,
is.
absolutely. Got
Lizard,
Rick in the house. What's up, Rick? Good to see you,
see
buddy.
you, Rick.
Let's see. We got Lizard, and that's he's in your
Yeah,
chat. Looks like.
saw it, man. Yeah, good to see you, Liz.
Got Reginator. What's up, Reginator? Good to see you. Good to see you. Miss Debbie says she's spreading the love even. I got a $2
Oh,
super
awesome,
sticker
dude.
too.
Awesome. We love it.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. Got D Henderson. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Let's see who else we got here. Susan Meadows. What's up? Spyglass. Looked like Spyglass is hanging out on your side.
Yeah, I see you
Not
over
that
there.
it really matters, we
Lizard, thank you for the super, man.
yeah, absolutely. Let's see who else we got for now. I don't want to miss anybody. We got Erica back. Good to see you, Erica.
Oh,
Yeah,
Erica.
that's Erica Franzvenstein
Yeah.
instead of Franzvi. I love that. I absolutely love that name. So kudos on the name, Erica, and thank you for being here. Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We'll try to catch them as we come in, but if they've been here waiting, I like to say, hey. All right, let's see. Anybody else? Oh, Dutch Silver. What's up, Dutch? Good to see you. Always a pleasure, for sure. Got Brett Booth, the
Brett,
man.
what's up, man?
Brett Booth, the man, the myth, the legend again. Yep.
Yeah, I love the clap effect, dude.
Yeah.
You're high tech now, man.
Uh,
Stop.
hey, you got it too. If you go over there on the menu to media assets and scroll down, that's where you
Okay.
find it.
Okay.
Yep. Question everything in the house. What's up, buddy? The one that is responsible for the intro and outro music. So
Oh
good.
wow.
Yeah, good to see you. Question.
Good to have him.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's see. Oh, we got Kathy back. Good to see you, Kathy. You said you were coming. By God, you're here. Whose chat was that I was talking to you in? Was that? I can't even remember whose chat that was. I think I seen her earlier, either that or last night in a chat. Heather P, what's up, Heather? Good to see you. And got Heather B in here also. What's up, the best Heather? And yes, you did make it. That is very good. All right, let's see what else we got. Did you try to call them off quick so we can get started?
Oh yeah.
Got Kathy Ross. Good to see you, Kathy Ross. Good to see you. It
I,
is a pleasure.
I have a CJ Myers over here. CJ, good to see you. Might
Did
be
I
the
scroll?
first time.
I may have scrolled past that one. Is that in your chat or in mine?
Yeah. Might
Okay.
be their first time.
Yeah.
But good to see you.
Welcome. We got Kelly in the house. Good to see you, Kelly. As always. Let's see. I think we're getting down towards the end. Keza, what's up? As a fan favorite there. Keza. Yeah, I see CJ Myers there. Yes, absolutely. Good to have you, CJ Myers. New subscriber. That is awesome.
Yeah, I got one
This
too,
is a
Lizard. Yeah, I got Lizard as a new member. So thank you,
yeah.
Lizard. God bless. Have you?
Um, let's see, JC. This is or JC. I get a little bit dyslexic every now and then.
Me too.
CJ, this is the best place to hang out. I can
It
promise you
is.
there is no better chat to hang out in. Penny Copeland, what's up, Kenny? Penny Copeland. See, I just about did it to her.
Penny.
Yeah. What's up, Penny? Good to see you. All right, we got any more? John D. Good to see you, John D. Good to have you here. Welcome to the best chat on the internet. All right, I think I may have got it whooped. We're gonna have to go faster. I'm going whoop. No, we got Geach Marie in here. Good to see you, Geach Marie. Awesome. Thank you for being here. All right, let's see. Gotta scroll fast, scroll fast. Oop, I got to the bottom. All right, sweet. All right, guys, we're going to pick up where we left off the other day, and me and Greg are both going to tell you what we think about this. And I don't know whether we'll get through the whole thing or not, but we've got a couple other items that we want to talk about too. So, worst case scenario, if we don't get all the way to the end, I'll just drop back on tomorrow or something and finish off the last little bit. But we'll see where we get. All right, buddy, you ready for me to go with it?
Let's go, man. Just
right,
get
let's
Jack
do it.
straight
Let's
down
do
here.
it.
But yeah, we're good. Go
And
ahead.
just for a recap, where we ended at was, without coming out and saying, yeah, Baron, you're right, the exploding mic theory seems to be more reasonable than, the Fed slop. Without coming out and saying that, he's definitely the light bulbs are coming on. Baron said, actually, it was Mr. Joseph, that said it looked like everything was blown up. And Barron comes in like, yeah, it almost looks like it's being blown with like an air, air or something, pressurized air. And he was like, yes, actually, it really, really does. And so, like I said, the light bulbs were definitely coming on when we left off. So anyway, here we go. We'll get her going, and hey, just let me know if you need me to pause it or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say before we start, man, as everybody's kind of commented, this was an incredible adult, very thorough, detailed, and civil conversation. I mean, if all public discourse was this way, man, we would be super sophisticated and,
Yep.
not in the situation we are now.
I'm surprised that it's even still on the internet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. Real quick, I made a post, letting everybody know about this stream, made a community post, and it was there for 6-7 hours. I didn't get one like, one comment, anything.
Damn.
And I hate to think that people might not have seen it. So anyways,
Yeah.
I if y'all can comment, did y'all see my? I mean, it's fine if you saw it and didn't like it. It's perfectly fine. But I was just wondering, did y'all see the actual post I made about
Yeah.
it?
Make sure. Oh, look here. We got a celebrity in the house. What is up, Rio Gates? Welcome. Greg.
Hey, Rio Gates.
I mentioned her to you in passing the other day, but we haven't been talking a whole lot. But I would like to, and I know I mentioned you to her, I would like to introduce y'all to. Maybe we can do a little collab. Okay. But she's a new podcaster. She is friends with, Ana Escobar, the one that's been digging into the planes and all that.
Yeah.
So she's a friend of hers, and she is also an attorney. Okay. So yeah. We've got one resident attorney. Two's better than one.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Rio, honestly, if you want, just drop in the chat if you want me to, and I can always drop that link. Hell, you can jump on anytime this evening if you want.
And start a text thread or an email thread with us if you can, Adam. And let's get together.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to right after the hearing. Me and her were talking about doing doing a live stream, and also Miss Christine, the former former detective and genetic genealogist. She's wanting to jump in, get on that action. So, I don't know what you'll be doing, but maybe maybe we can all jump on.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to. And I just so everybody knows, and maybe Rio can jump in. I want to do an attorney and I mean not solely limited, but I want to do an episode once the defense files their bind over memo. Uh,
Yeah.
I want to do a just a full length discussion on
Miss
both of them
Christine
together.
was asking me about that, and
Yeah.
see, I knew that they had filed it, and I've been looking,
Yeah.
and just never had run across it. So it's not actually been made public. Then I mean, it's not.
Well, the states filed theirs. The defense probably has 14 to 30 days, 15 to 30 days, I would assume, to file theirs in response. So,
Okay.
hold on. I've got the state.
So
right
we
here.
won't see anything until both have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to wait to talk about it, until both of them been filed. But July 28th. So probably
July
another week
28th.
or so, I would imagine, before we see, hey, Rick, before we see the defenses filed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, we need to keep an eye out for that because, like I said, I've been looking for the states, and I hadn't
It's
been
there.
able to find it.
It's
Is
there.
it?
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Send it to
Yeah,
me because
yeah.
Miss Christine was wanting to see it and asked me if
pulled it
I had
today.
been able to find it.
I pulled it today.
Okay. And you know what? Maybe it hasn't been available till just the last day or two, but hey, I ain't no legal expert, and I probably just don't know how to look.
Their system is very confusing. Their filing system
Utah.
is pretty confusing. So
Cool.
it's not just you. It's a system.
Rio, I just DM'd you the link. If you do want to jump on, you're more than welcome. If not, that is totally okay too. We can do something later, but I figured I'd go ahead and drop it in there just in case. But hey, Jess happy. You don't know what you're here for, but the algorithm led you here. Hey, look, always trust the algorithm, or at least in this case. You stumbled upon the best chat on the internet. So
That's right.
We're here 5 or 6 times a week. Great little community.
That's right.
And yep, we've got. I haven't even told Greg about this, but we got John Bray comes on once a month. He's committed to that.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
But guess who I got coming up soon, buddy?
Who's that?
Maybe I did tell you. I don't know. Clint Russell.
Oh, dude.
Liberty
I like
Lockdown.
Clint, dude. Yeah, I
Yep.
like Clint.
Talked to him about 3 days ago. Yep.
Awesome. Hell
Yep.
yeah, dude. That's what's up. And you always you and John Bray, I think, do the best podcast.
A lot of people say that, and it's not
Yeah.
because I know, so much
No,
or I'm
y'all
that great
just
of
are
an
very
interviewer.
similar people. I mean, in a good way, and y'all just have a real natural conversation style.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's what I like, and obviously other people love it because we get comments, all the time, every time we do one.
Yeah, y'all do good work on it, dude.
Y'all do good together because you both sound like rednecks and just
Well, you both are rednecks, I'm pretty
right.
sure. Yeah.
But John gets to show that humor a little bit whenever he's on with me. So
Yeah.
make sure you liked and make sure you're subscribed, Jess, and hit that little notification bell. So all right, guys, we done talked about it enough. Fire in the hole.
Let's go.
Here we go.
So that chair has specific value. Do you know why?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because it allowed Terrell Farnsworth to reach the video camera.
Think about how you're sitting
and
right
it
now.
was manipulated, right? It was
Yeah.
manipulated
Yeah.
and should have been left in its original position wherever it ended up, right? Even though Dan Flood,
Well, it
should've
should have
been
been left in the position that it landed in at the end of, you could expect it to get knocked out of the way, but nobody else needed to mess with it.
Yeah,
until-
it could have been easier to recreate, to put it back in its original position. Obviously, the less times it's moved around. So,
Not to mention less pieces of DNA or, possible smudges or what have you. So, talking about from an evidentiary standpoint, like
right.
that, it's such a no-no.
and let me real quick.
Where'd these shoe prints come from?
What exactly? What is this guy's competency exactly? What's his?
He is a 40-year. I want to say he's a forensic.
Pathologist or something?
Yes, I
I'm
think
just saying that
he's
word.
a forensic pathologist. But
Okay.
I do know that he teaches everything from the autopsy part down to everything related. I know that he does teach police departments and stuff like that, state police there in Alabama. So,
Oh yeah, I can tell he's from Bama.
I said when we were playing this yesterday morning, I said, "See, this guy right here is living proof that everybody that's a redneck don't sound dumb when they talk."
That's right. That's right. That's right. You know, I thought that same thing earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, man.
Yeah, Rick confirmed that he is a
Yeah.
forensic
Okay.
pathologist,
Okay.
but like a 40-year one, very, very well decorated.
He's definitely
So,
competent. To me,
Yes.
I have no doubt he's competent. Yeah.
speaking of which, he has a YouTube channel. I think it's called Body Bags. Go over there and check him out.
And let me ask you this. So I didn't get to see all the first part. Like, so is
Mm-hmm.
his position that Tyler Robinson did this or
Let me tell you, he's got a very interesting position.
okay.
Okay. He has not followed this one because he's got his own podcast and he looks into all these other things, all these other cases for his podcast, not to mention the work he does. So he kind of had an overall, idea of what was going on with it. Gary Melton was singing this dude's praises last week. And I told everybody yesterday morning, watch how fast Gary takes and sticks a figurative, knife in his back. Because he was singing his praises and cutting out clips. He was on with Julian Dory about 2 weeks ago by himself. Mm-hmm. And he, when Julian mentioned the exploding microphone, he just laughed and rolled his eyes and was like, well, do you think a 30-06 could stop? Well, I don't know anything about, the circumstances, but I mean, yeah, it'd be way more likely to be that than a damn exploding microphone. That and what was the other thing? But, basically he laughed at the whole idea of any of the conspiracies.
Yeah.
And, but again, he even said then, I don't really know all the ins and outs and details. So that's why I was so excited about it, because I knew he's super smart and totally good faith. He'll be open to the discussion. When I heard him and Barron were sitting down, I thought nobody better for the job. So you could see the position start to shift. Like I said, he just kind of assumed based on what he saw, that's probably what happened. And look, if you ask him now, he may actually tell you the same opinion just because he doesn't know, but I can guarantee you he's entertaining other things now.
Yeah, I could tell that. There's several times, and I know we'll cover them tonight, where we'll see where he they ask him about is this standard procedure? Is this and he starts like, oh no way. So I think we are going to see.
Yeah, he says, what about standing in the chair that he just died in?
That's right.
Yeah, the guy dumping water on his head, walking through there just
complete obliteration of the crime scene, man.
Totally not giving a shit. To me, that's borderline, seems like intentional.
Reckless at the very, like gross recklessness.
I've never been in law enforcement, but if I was there, I would know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've never been in law enforcement, but if I was there in the area, I would know to stay the hell out.
Yeah.
And don't be messing with shit. Yeah. But, everybody that was there seemed like, whether it was picking up hats or picking up the microphone and tapping it on the, the table or whatever it was, it's just crazy. Anyway, here we go. We'll never get going if we keep chatting.
Yeah, while you play this clip, I'm gonna grab a little bit of coffee. So just keep going.
Cool.
And they're static. It's not like you're using lasers or something like that. This is not that lasers aren't static, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. It's something that the doctor is going to place us in there, and generally they're going to be pretty thin. We used to use these kind of.
And guys, just a little housekeeping note. The more the merrier. We're getting on up there towards 100. The chat starts to fly. Just saying, I will try to keep an eye on it. But if you got anything you want me to see, with this many plus, the super chat's going to be the way to ensure that I see it, and I will be doing those at the end for sure. So thank y'all.
I've seen people use metal. Yeah, that's a dowel right there.
Right there.
And those are.
What's up? It's me.
Let's see. Oh,
with the cop holding it like that?
No, I like the one you got up there with the body. I'd love to see what that one looks like.
Okay.
Can you expand that at all, or no? You are a human. There you go. Okay.
You may not.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
But I just, for purposes of orientation, you see what I'm talking about, though, and you can see the pitch on it and that sort of thing. You have to be very delicate when you place this in there because you can disrupt structures. And also, if there's a projectile in there,
can you move it?
Yeah, I've seen physicians that'll get, and you can, one of the worst things you ever want to hear is that metal tink.
Yeah. Since we're not showing it, just so I can describe it to people, I want you to imagine, and you can Google this as well. But if Charlie's wound is here, it is a long, very thin rod that would be put in at approximately what they would determine the trajectory to be based on where the wound is. So maybe like that, and it just sticks out. And Joseph's saying they would do it obviously slowly and carefully. They try not to fuck with the area.
You do not want. You as the examiner do not want to dictate the position of the rod. You want the defect to dictate the position of the rod. And that's kind of, it's kind of elemental, but it's essential here because any deviation off of this, it's going to skew data. And you remember how we talked about the chair just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Well, this is an essential component here to see if what we're seeing in the morgue, if it is within acceptable parameters to marry up to what we're seeing that happened or allegedly happened, from what they're saying from the roof down to here. Is it plausible? That's one of the questions that we would have.
But on a time basis, is this a few minutes? Is it pretty time consuming?
Yeah, I hate to keep waffling.
I know.
It all depends on the skill of the prosector, how fastidious they are, and some of them I've been around.
Oh yeah, and real quick, Greg, I don't know if you caught this in the first one, but given the circumstances, and I don't mean just because of who he is, but because of the type of injury and how much damage there was. He said that if it had been him, he kept going back to that standard, what would meet the standard or what would be above or below the standard. He was saying if it was him, he would have, if not more, he would have at a minimum kept like the larynx and I know his tongue, and he named off a few other things. He said more than likely he would have kept the whole cerebral spine. What is it, C1 through C? Is it 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think it was 6.
Yeah, but anyway, he said he would have kept all of that, no question, just judging by the injuries. Mm-hmm. And he says that's pretty common practice.
When you say keep it, did he say like not bury it with the body?
Right, literally, okay. Yes, literally take it out for later. Yep.
Okay. Wow.
I didn't realize
that.
I didn't realize they went that far.
Yeah,
I didn't. But they do. He was saying, pretty much they do that, and then it probably makes the mortician's job a little more complicated. But what's that case going on right now in? Is it Mississippi? Yeah. What's that big case that's been going on? That
man, I don't know off the top of my head.
I know. I should know it. But he was saying that they did the same.
Wow.
He was saying they did the same, that they had some kind of, I don't know, there was some kind of either lawsuit or court order or something that was addressed in that. But anyway.
Wow.
All right, here we go. Yeah, he said he would have kept all that.
A lot of them.
Real quick, I think the part I wanted to try to catch if we can, it might have been a little bit before this, so we can go back. Where he's talking about what Brian Harpole did to the wound. It might be after this.
I think that's coming up if I'm not wrong. We'll check. If not, we can always go back.
No, that's fine.
Yep.
That just like to blow and go. They'll go. And then other people, they're like a deer in the headlights. Sometimes you're wondering if they're even actually thinking. Sometimes they'll just stand there, trying to, you can see the wheels kind of turning, and they're thinking, where do I go now?
I can see wheels turning.
It all depends on the skill level of the individual. I would imagine that whoever did this autopsy is probably going to be at the top end of the skill level in a staff. You're not going to want to throw a newbie out there.
Right.
And you don't know this guy, Quillharder?
No.
You know a lot of these people, so that's what I'm asking.
Nope.
Okay.
He's now the medical examiner of Dutchess County, New York. He's been.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're forensic pathologists are kind of transient, and that happens with some frequency. They'll move.
Yes, and not only that, but he literally left just like he just left, not long ago. But the crazy thing is, I don't know if you heard this or not, but his wife is not necessarily a furry, but she's furry adjacent. She's written books and does videos.
Adjacent.
She's a doctor. Yes, she's a doctor, and she explains how to be a furry and something about it and sexuality and this, that, weirdo. But it's funny that this case is supposed to be based off of, somebody concerned over furry rights.
Yeah. Well, so you're talking about the forensic pathologist. So
The medical examiner that is
the
now in
medical
New York,
examiner.
his wife.
He's sorry about that. I got it mixed
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But so the medical exam, so that they probably didn't want to stick around and I mean, obviously they're going to have to come back and testify, so they can't escape that. But I mean,
Right,
I guess
but-
they might have got a bad feeling that this wasn't.
It would be easy to take the guy and say, okay, well, you know how a lot of people look at this furry business, you know,
Yeah.
and right now, you know, y'all can kind of keep y'all's shit separate, you know, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
we could always make sure that there's no way to, you know, we could make sure everybody starts realizing. I don't know. I thought that was interesting that this
Yeah.
whole thing is based off of the furry, you know, thing, and
Yeah,
the
dude. I mean,
medical examiner,
the
his wife
way I
was
kind
one.
of see that too, it's like, and Candace last night talked about the furry thing. That really, I think the only evidence of furryism was on Lance's part.
Right.
You know, it's just very interesting, and they took that angle just immediately and just
I
shoved
don't think
it down
he
our
was
throat.
a furry.
Like, yeah,
I don't think he was a furry.
Not in the fullest sense, right? I mean, just
I don't know that he was at all.
The pictures I've seen, if those are real, true, like pictures of him, don't show like a real furry. I mean, it shows a man, you know.
The only thing I've seen that it was anywhere close to that is the one where he's wearing that goofy ass hoodie with the ears on it.
Yeah.
Look at that and look at the kid that they interviewed.
You're right.
That
you're
had
right.
to have been
You're
10
right.
years ago, 8
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and at that age, at 12, 13 years old, that could have just been a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
not necessarily
kids
furry.
Kids these days are grow up in a different environment than we did,
Yeah.
where what's
I mean-
acceptable or not, you know, or what's defined gender, you know, boundaries or roles or whatever, you know.
Brett Booth likes that one. Yeah, when we get the merch store going, buddy, we'll use that. Furry adjacent. I think I'm the only one that says that so far. All right, here we go.
Around because there's so few of them. If they get a better gig somewhere, they'll go do it. Yeah.
So whether it takes a few minutes or a long time, this is done. And then now it's time to open up and take a look inside.
Yeah. And it's going to start with, and again, it's prosector dependent. You've got to do a standard Y incision, which everybody's seen. Starts here, the apex of the shoulders, comes down over the sternum. You make that initial incision and then down to the pubis, the midline, and you can open the body up.
Do they have to open the sternum, or they just open the flaps?
They create flaps.
Okay.
And they're triangular. It's like a slice of pizza right here. So, and you have to what's called reflecting. You reflect this back. Remember I was talking about the fascia, the connective tissue. You're reflecting this back, and flips over the face. Then you go down the midline, open up here, and then either you're going to use bone shears, limb shears, which most offices use limb shears, like you clip a limb with, or they use Stryker's a brand name like Kleenex, but you're going to use an agitating saw that looks like a cast saw. You're going to remove the breastplate at that point in time, and then you go through all of the organ systems. There's one of two ways to do it. Either you do an organ by organ dissection, or you do what's called en bloc. En bloc means that everything comes out.
I know the chat's going to be screaming at me, but another thing, you know, what he's describing, I don't know if you saw it, but you know that Lauren, that mortician, Lauren, I think that's what her show's
She has
called,
a
Lauren.
channel. She has a channel on here. I think I know you're talking about.
Yeah. And she's really smart. She does lots of really good videos. But she did one the other day addressing Baron Coleman in particular, because he was talking about how he didn't think that a proper autopsy could have been done based on the timelines and all of that. Well, she ran through it about how long everything should take. And the way she explained everything in a perfect world, I mean, didn't really sound like that much. But if you hear what all he's talking about, I mean, like keeping sections of the neck and spinal cord and vertebrae, and then you hear him talk about all these organs and, you know, doing all this, he's describing a different process than what she was.
Yeah, well, that makes me wonder, you know, like which one is correct? Which one's the correct
I'm guessing
process,
he
you know?
is.
Yeah, I would imagine too. You say he teaches, right?
Yeah, he teaches, and he's actually a forensic pathologist. As far as I know, she is just a mortician. She's just worked in that field for a long time and kind of knows how autopsies go.
Yeah. I would probably take his word over hers then.
Yeah.
We'll call
in
battle of the
one big
experts.
block.
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
case like this, you would probably do organ by organ because you're trying to be delicate with each organ. I'm just kind of walking you guys through a standard autopsy here, right? So, heart's probably going to come out first. You're going to weigh the heart, see what it weighs. The technician is taking the heart out. The doctor is not taking the heart out. So you open up the pericardial sac. It's kind of like, I talked about the brain has a sac, heart has a sac. You're going to open it. You're going to say it's got straw-colored fluid in it, which the pericardial fluid is straw-colored. You'll open it up, look at the heart externally. You'll hand it to the doc, put it in scale, you weigh it. And then you go lung by lung. Lung by lung, dissect out the diaphragm, examine the liver in place, check the gallbladder in place. If it's got stones, remove the liver, look at the spleen. Spleen's kind of connected to the pancreas. You're going to go organ by organ. Posterior, the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys, and you're going to take the kidneys out. You're going to weigh each one of those, and then you're going to do the bowel dissection, which is lengthy, and it's done on every autopsy.
What do you mean by lengthy?
It just takes a while because you have to do what's called running the bowel, and so you go through every inch of the bowel, and you're looking for any kind of lesions that's in there, and that's just standard. Again, you don't want to deviate. You don't want to make exceptions. I'm not a big fan of partial autopsies either because some people, they will do cases. I know of cases where people will have a gunshot wound, and they only go in and they only dissect the trauma that's created by the gunshot.
Do you think that would fall below the standard in this case if they did that?
Yes, it would. You're going to really get yourself into a lot of trouble with that.
And that's another question too. Again, you want to treat every single thing the same.
Yeah.
But when you had really high profile cases that you were doing, would it be maybe human nature normal in your seat sometimes to maybe take your time a little more, even with a process like that, organ by organ?
No. No. For in cases that I've been involved in over the years, we really weren't respecters of persons in there. I'm not having a big kumbaya moment here. It's just that you have to treat each case, the same, in the sense of you don't want to do less for somebody or more for somebody. There are certain cases that are dictated where you have to do more. Like anybody that dies in custody, that dissection takes forever because you're actually dissecting the backs of the legs, soles of the feet, palms of the hands, the whole 9 yards, because you're looking for any trauma that an institution could have done. And there are different procedures that you do. The en bloc is referred to as Rogatansky, and it's a Rogatansky dissection or en bloc, and you just lay everything out. But when you're talking about trauma, that's not really a good way because you want to keep everything contained. I don't know how far down that trauma extends.
You could have had lead fragments coming down.
Well, and areas of impact, or if this thing fragmented.
Yeah, and so when he said fragments, talking about going down like that, you seen the reaction. Yeah, I mean, he's like a lot of people with the neck shot. He wouldn't expect fragments to really go too far in two different directions.
Yeah.
Because this thing was like total, everything was by both lungs. I don't remember now what all, but in the chest cavity, it was all messed up, really bad. But not only that, it said that the spine was obliterated, from the whole.
Yeah, I heard him
cerebral
mention
spine,
the
basically.
chest cavity. I went through a little bit of this earlier, and I'm sure we'll get to it. But I think they talk a little bit further about the chest cavity, but they really don't go into much detail. I guess the prosecutor didn't release much detail about.
No, it's just excerpts out of the ME's report.
Yeah,
not the full report.
Yeah, they would dare give anything that might give any kind of credence to John Bray's, working theory.
And so at some point in here, he does say that's odd and it's not really what you would expect, but the trauma literally went from down here in his chest cavity to above his brain, like literally between it and the top of the skull. So, that's awful odd from one bullet hole to the neck,
Yeah, and how much of his spine was knocked out?
Like C1 through C6, I believe. Yeah.
That's just odd. That's just odd to me. Like, what could have done something like that? That's what I'm wondering. Like,
a hell of a shockwave is all I can think of. I mean,
that's right. That must have been what it was.
Unless they found like that whole entire jacket there, and even then, I don't think it would have took out that much. But there's no way these tiny little pieces of lead, these little fragments, are going to take out that much. It had to have been like a shotgun blast. It would have had to been 20 of them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, very interesting. I guess we'll have to wait to get the full report at trial to really make a full assessment. Yeah.
Hopefully we get some X-rays.
Yeah. Quick bathroom break while you play this next clip for me.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Like, they're showing the images from the preliminary hearing of this thing. I don't know where those wound up. But yeah. So to your point, and those cavitate in their own little way, because those are, once it fragments, it becomes its own little projectile. So, yeah.
Well, and they did mention in the recent filing that there was damage to the top of the heart, for example. So
yeah, there's probably kind of a contused area there. Yeah. And again, that goes to
yep, that's it. Traumatically obliterated. And obliterated is not really a medical term. So, that means really, really messed up.
If I had, did they say anything about the lungs, that there was, like, at the top of the lungs, that there was any kind of?
I would say I can pull it up and send it.
Because many times if you see, that kind of kinetic effect, you can get contusions on multiple surfaces depending upon the velocity, transfer of the energy, and how far out it extends from there. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick bathroom break, and we'll pull that up and come back with that right away.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back. So we just left off after we went through all the process of what you would take out internally, the lungs, weighing all that, and our timeline. Where were we at with the timeline now, Baron?
I think we thought around 10 o'clock the Y cut would start, give or take, based on the timeline. Not holding anyone to it, but just guessing.
Right.
Okay, ballpark 10 o'clock. Now what?
Yeah. So at this point, after you're done with the thorax, essentially, all the organs of the chest, the abdomen.
Yeah, chat helped me out on that. Is traumatically obliterated.
What's that? What word is that?
Traumatically obliterated was the term that it used in the image report. And obliterated isn't really a medical term, so
that's strange. Yeah, what does that mean? Like totally destroyed, or just like in so many fragments?
Well, we know what obliterated means, and traumatically means like the trauma literally destroyed it completely, I guess.
So you're taking it as the trauma is what did the obliterating, not that it was traumatic because it obliterated. See what I mean? Right, though. There's so many ways you could really interpret that.
Yeah, you could read it, yes. Especially, y'all attorneys, those attorney brains got to think like that.
And weighed. Each organ is dissected. Okay, and they're going to take samples of every organ, and it's going to go into preservative. So they've held everything. They've got sections of bowel, reproductive organs, bladder, the whole 9 yards, heart, lungs, liver, everything. Now comes the really detailed part, okay? Because all you have left are the head and neck. And in this case, you're in the sweet spot here.
So before we get to head and neck, how long does the abdomen take?
Oh, the abdomen itself, I don't know. I've been involved in autopsies. That the autopsy itself, and I'm talking about the actual prosection of remains. Once you get in, and this is after you've got up and running and you're working, right? Less than an hour. Okay, and that's for, and again, this is all dependent upon what type of trauma you're talking about. So if you're going in, you've got somebody that's got multiple gunshot wounds all over their body, it ain't going to take you an hour. It's going to take you hours, okay? Because you're going to have to track every one of those wounds. And you're going to do trajectories through all of those wounds. And you have to make note of what organ systems and what vessels are impacted by each one of those wounds. And that's just kind of an over-the-top example. Motor vehicle accidents take a long time many times because you've got so much trauma. But if you're talking about a single, let's just say that the abdomen, there's no trauma in the chest. You'd mentioned the heart. I'd like to know if the lungs were contused at all.
So if you go to the bottom of this page, and I guess Steve can pull it up, that paragraph there, and it'll spill over onto the top of page 3. That's the descriptions from the medical examination.
What document is this, Baron, we have?
This is the state's summation of the preliminary hearing.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, so this bottom paragraph is what you're talking about?
Yeah, and it rolls over on the top of page 3.
Okay, so it says the bullet, or at least parts of it, quote, sequentially perforated the anterior left side of Mr. Kirk's neck, strap muscles of the left side of the neck, and the left common carotid, and left internal and external jugular veins, unquote. States examination 11 ST3. The bullet also, quote, obliterated the left side of the C2 to 7 vertebrae and transected the cervical spinal cord, unquote.
Yeah, C2 through C7, and then transected the cervical spinal cord.
I'm reading that right now. Like I said, I printed out a copy of the state's brief. Yeah, brief. Yeah. It's on page 2, so it's like where they come out like pretty much immediately
crazy.
talking about this. Yeah.
Quote ID. The medical examiner observed that, quote, a significant portion of Mr. Kirk's cervical spinal cord was traumatically absent, unquote. ID at 3.
That's what it was. It was obliterated, but then traumatically
4.
Traumatically absent. Like, yeah,
absent.
it's pretty traumatic.
That means it's not there, right? I mean,
yeah.
It basically means it's no longer there. If I understand the word absent.
Why they had to put traumatically there? I mean, of course it's traumatic, right? Like,
yeah.
Something like that, you just go missing. And let me say this. I just read this too. Is that they say, that basically the quote unquote bullet created a complex entrance gunshot wound. Yeah,
right.
I think it's pretty complex, and I wonder why that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So sounds to me like, I mean, look, and this is all allegedly, but sounds like we're already starting to try to explain things that are not really that explainable, at least using their official story.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. Yeah, I think that they've had to venture, get a little bit over their skis a little bit.
Yeah.
Mr. Kirk
way over, I think.
Literature. Yeah.
Suffered other severe injuries, including, quote, bilateral, apical, and posterior intercostal hemorrhages, pulmonary, apical hemorrhages / hematomas.
That just the length of those words makes that sound bad.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
And multiple disruptions of the thyroid, cricoid, and tracheal cartilages, ID at 3. The medical examiner also observed hemorrhaging around Mr. Kirk's heart, hemopericardium, both of his lungs, quote, left and right hemothorax, unquote, and the subarachnoid space around the, quote, cerebellar vermis and the parietal regions, unquote, of Mr. Kirk's brain, ID at 3.
Wow. Okay, so the last part's pretty impressive because you're talking about
impressive.
The cerebellum, which is the base back here. You've kind of got the base of the brain. He's talking about the vermis there and the parietal region. So parietal is lateral. So this is your temporal area. Okay. Parietal, so people call it parietal, is right here. Okay. So you've got hemorrhage that's extending up into here. And you've also got, let me see, didn't say anything about the occiput, which the occiput is probably going to involve the cerebellum. So back here. Okay. So all of this is impacted again.
When you say impacted, what do you mean?
Well, it's impacted by this concussive event, where you've got the concussion of this round, unless, because
I like the word that he uses, concussion, this concussive event.
Yeah.
To me,
so he's
that
trying to
doesn't
say that like the concussion from the round caused all this. A 30
concussion from something.
Yeah, 30 caliber round caused all this.
But I thought that was an interesting choice of words.
Yeah.
Not direct trauma, related to, I don't know what
how
words
else do you explain
use,
it? I mean, you have to put some kind of mysterious force in there. And the only thing you can really go with is the concussion from the round.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a cut. So this is the way I see this. For if we are to believe that there was a bullet from a 30-06 that went in and stopped, then what we have to believe is that it went into his neck, and you've only got a very short distance. But once it does that, it literally comes apart and breaks up into anywhere from 5 to 7 or 8 pieces, depending on which number you go with. But those pieces immediately slowed to the point where they would not exit, but yet at the same time
cause all that damage. Yeah,
yes,
man, that's true.
Yes. Yeah.
Because what we don't see here is any further. They're just using the term. Well, they're using the term disruptions. The medical examiner also observed hemorrhaging around.
Delaney, real quick, I wanted to over here on mine. Delaney, she says, so they were saying it played ping pong. No, they're actually saying that just the force of the bullet, the concussion from it, caused the damage. Not that it like bounced around, but just the force in and around the bullet. Obviously the concussion being kind of those wave patterns of force coming off of an explosion, or in this case, allegedly a bullet. They're saying that, or he's suggesting at least that's what caused it.
That's not like, in the report or anything like that, but that's the word that he used, and I thought was an interesting way to put it. One other thing I want to say, and I promise I'm going to get right back to it, but so look, no speculation, none of this. All right, a 30-06 bullet at that distance is going to be just under 3,000 feet per second and going to be somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 foot-pounds of energy. All right, this 30 caliber bullet goes in him. Now, if it's a full metal jacket or something that does not, does not mushroom or open up or whatever, it'll stay together.
Yeah.
Something that goes clean through. Okay. If he's sitting there in the chair and this thing goes in and then bam, clean out the back, I can understand him staying upright. His head might not even move because it's so fast and it goes through cleanly front and back.
Yeah.
But they also expect us to believe with that much speed and that much force that once it enters his neck, literally it is dumping all of that energy into his neck because his neck is not allowing it to exit, but yet his head never even snapped back, much less him falling out of the chair. I mean, it should have flipped him and his chair over backwards.
And we really don't see the neck compress or do any kind of like
no, you see everything kind of wave up.
Yeah, in the neck wound just kind of appears and blood starts coming out.
Yep.
But everything else is going. But like the neck, there's just not much activity there really, other than the wound.
I'm telling you, ask anybody that has been in any kind of combat. Ask them about that. I mean, a lot of times, even when the bullets do go through, it'll still knock you back. But I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
But at times when it doesn't, look, I've shot deer before. Mm-hmm. On the very few that I've shot that it didn't go clean through. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looked like somebody, like it got hit by a car.
Yeah.
When that bullet hits, I mean, like I've seen them do backflips before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially shooting them front on where there's so much body there it can't come out. I've seen them do a whole backflip. I mean, so to believe that could go into his head or go into his neck and not even snap his head back.
Yeah. Is insane.
Yeah.
So hemopericardium means that he had blood.
Sorry if that was a little graphic, guys, but I mean, that's a really, to me, that's a big one. That's an important point.
Yeah.
Blood surrounding the heart. People might think, well, of course you don't have blood inside the heart. So this kind of traumatic event, both lungs, left and right.
What does that
hemothorax
suggest? If it was surrounding the heart, what does that suggest?
It means that this could be as a result of heroic measures that were being done. By doing compressions, perhaps hemothorax.
We were told though that there were no compressions except for Frank Turek in the last 25 seconds of the car ride.
Yeah,
you got blood in the chest. You've got subarachnoid space. Yeah. So, there's a lot going on here and again, they don't, because they didn't have the ME come up to the stand in the preliminary,
correct.
Which was
strange.
Yeah, kind of was. I would have preferred, from my perspective, because that's kind of the area that I dance in, the medical legal area. I wanted, but they just kind of, what do you guys call it? Admitted the autopsy report without further comment.
The only evidence we had of a dead body was a cop reading the conclusion of the ME's report.
Yeah. So,
is there a reason why they might hold back their hand completely in this case?
Well, I don't know. I think
trial?
I got to thinking about this the other day, tooling around, and I was thinking, why didn't they call the ME? And they, there were those multiple stoppages along the way when they were not. They would either shut the thing down or, of course, they had sidebars and whatnot. But there's certain things that they wouldn't show and talk about. Everything that the ME is going to talk about is going to be considered to be prejudicial, I think, from a traumatic standpoint.
Not in a preliminary hearing.
Yeah, I know, but if there was any kind of and again, this is not my area. All right, I'm just saying, trying to think like the judge. If there's anything prejudicial that's going to impact the pool at all, the pool of potential jurors, and I'm just kind of spitballing. I've covered enough trials though, live coverage on Court TV and Law and Crime where we do, and I've seen them hold stuff back relative to MEs before because they view it. But again, we have to contextualize this and say this is a preliminary hearing. But I'm trying to think ahead and think, why would the judge not compel them to have the ME come to the stand?
Yeah. Even at a
which I find,
preliminary,
fascinating.
Yeah. So, nobody testified who saw a dead body.
Yeah.
Not one person.
Yeah. So, and again,
Yes, therein lies the point right there. There was not one single person that was called to testify that could testify to the fact that there actually was a dead body.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't know if that just goes to prejudice, and I mean prejudice in the sense of the pool.
Hard to have a murder without a dead body.
Yeah, corpus delicti. There you go.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I love saying that. By the way. It makes me feel very lawyerly. Even
Yeah,
though
feels very highbrow.
Latin. That's right. That's Latin.
Do what?
That corpus delicti is like a Latin term referring to, well, in this case, the dead body.
Right.
So, back to our dissection.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a lot of injuries there. And this is even further evidence of, in my opinion, this is where they would have spent the most time. Okay. So they're going to be doing what's referred to as a layered dissection.
I would say should have, not would have,
layer
buddy.
by layer before they ever begin to remove anything. So all of the structures in the neck, they're going to gently kind of reflect all of these surfaces down. They talked about the strap muscles, for instance. If you don't know what strap muscles are, it's something we examine. We pay particularly close attention to these in cases of asphyxia, like strangulation. They're kind of these crisscross muscle structures that are in here, and like when somebody's grabbed, you'll see focal areas of hemorrhage in there. Can you roll back up the strap muscles? I thought that I'd seen them mentioned. I wasn't sure.
Where he says the common carotid, left
carotid.
internal, carotid, sorry. Left internal, external jugular.
Yeah, so that top line strap muscles. Okay, so the bullet, or at least parts of it, sequentially perforated the anterior left side of the neck and strap muscles. So right through here, and then it passes through these muscular structures on the left aspect. So they're seeing focal areas of hemorrhage in here, and you would have hemorrhage because blood's still pumping, right, coursing. So it's going to bleed out into those little soft bodies in there. Again, going back to what I'd said earlier, I'm hoping that I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. As they're going through this layer dissection, they're stopping for photographs. You're going to have... No question.
Okay.
You have to, man. You have to do it. Again, the word in situ, and you'll hear forensic pathologists use that term all the time. I want this, and like the strap muscles, as...
I can't wait to see what actually got done, in court. Surely to God we'll see. And then he's going to give his take based on what was brought, what was shown at trial. I can't wait to get his take on what they did and didn't do.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, and I need to go look at this, but didn't they change the law magically in Utah about the disclosure of autopsy photographs? What was it? Like they can't disclose them at all, or just not before trial? Or
I think that basically, it had to be done by court order. The judge had to, I think, something to that effect.
Let's see.
While you look at that, I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Yeah, once you get through every layer, as you go through each layer and you're kind of pulling these back, and you'll see the dissection of like the strap muscles, they'll be laid to the side. You'll see them actually kind of laid out like this, and they'll take an anterior shot and then the underside of it too. You'll see a photograph there. So they're going to have those photographic images. Now, whether or not they'll actually use them, if this thing goes to trial.
They haven't even produced them.
Okay. So, and that's another part. They'll have to have, and correct me if I'm wrong, counselor, they have to have a separate... I think people think that the preliminary hearing is once that happens, and it has happened, and if he comes back and the equivalent of, I guess, like a true bill where he says, we're moving forward with this, there's still like other hearings that are going to take place relative to admission of evidence. Sure. I've talked about extensively about just testifying photographs over the years, and it's tedious. And so they'll have to decide you have to state in clear terms, why are you showing this photograph? What does this demonstrate? Because you cannot just throw up photographs to throw up photographs. Hey, we took 1,000 photographs or 1,000 images. You have to state a reason, and it has to be a good reason why you're showing this in court. Now, there could be hundreds and hundreds of other photographs that are never seen in any case. Trust me, this happens, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you show all of them just to be showing them, that kind of takes away from the ones that really, what really show what needs to be shown.
Yeah, so they did change the May of 2025. They changed the law to make it a Class B misdemeanor to publish or release autopsy photos out, out of like very specifically defined circumstances, which obviously a proceeding is one of them.
Right.
But I guess it's just within the proceeding, like literally just to the jury, just to judge,
Well,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, wouldn't those, even though the person's dead, do they not still kind of fall under HIPAA? I mean, honestly, it would surprise me if legally they could just be released to the public anyway.
Well, that's a good question, but at the same time, well, what if it's a picture without any identifying marks or anything on it? Like, doesn't show the face, there's no other mark or any way to determine. But, in that vein, it would probably just be safer to say, like you say, it's just not, we shouldn't be disclosing these anyways.
It's just weird, though, that they changed that law, that close.
Yeah. And maybe it wasn't specific. I'm going to read through it. Go ahead and keep playing.
Yeah.
I'll read through it and see what it was before.
All right.
You want the ones that are going to best demonstrate the point that you're trying to make as the prosecution. Now, I'll be curious to see if defense gets access to all the photographs. I would assume that they would in discovery. They'll be able to review everything, and they'll be able to make an argument, and they'll talk about, we need this, they don't need this. We want our experts to see everything because they're going to retain somebody, I guess. I still don't.
They've indicated they're going to.
Yeah, so, and it makes sense that they would.
But at the beginning, when you're in the autopsy, the attitude is you'd rather be looking at it than looking for it.
I'd rather be drowning in photographs than not have any at all. So you're going to have multiple photographs from multiple perspectives, and it can be down to
Amen, Tamara. Amen.
the tiniest little hemorrhage, pinprick hemorrhage that you'll see. They're going to photograph that thing, and they'll do it again, pulling back, mid-range, micro. So over and over and over again.
So, and I hate to keep asking the question,
please.
but the reason I do is because I want to know, is this your opinion of the way it should be done, or is this the standard? So would it be substandard? Would it be below the standard to not have photographed each step of the way?
Definitely, Baron. It would be below the standard not to photographically document every single thing here.
And you're talking hundreds potentially.
Yeah.
Or more?
Well, hundreds. I think that's a reasonable number. And you've kind of got a concentrated area, don't you? So how many photographs can you take of one specific area?
Right.
Over and over and over.
Like as they're taking the organs out and documenting the injury to the heart and the lungs, are they photographing that before they remove it? Then as
they would
remove it?
have, and then they're going to take when they put an organ, when the technician hands the organ to the doctor, the organ actually goes onto a dissecting board. Sometimes they're cork. They look like they're about that thick. They sit on a dissecting tray. The cork board is up here, and the physician has all of their instruments here. So what they will do is they'll take the organ and they'll either photograph it on the dissecting board, or they'll take have you ever seen a blue surgery drape? It's kind of a brilliant. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's kind of a baby blue color, I guess.
Oh, it shines.
Yeah. And it kind of contrasts.
Right.
So you would take, like with the heart. Yeah. That's exactly right. So you would have there are drapes, not like you're doing surgery, but you lay it out flat. And so you'll take the organ and you'll rotate it, left aspect, right aspect, straight on, posterior, and you're taking scales with each one of those. So you're popping all those. And then I'm just thinking heart here. As you're dissecting the heart, you're cutting you're doing what's called bread loafing. So you're taking the big dissecting knife and you're slicing it, and you can flip through it like a book or like a loaf of bread, right? And you look for trauma, or you look for any kind of natural disease pathology through each organ. Now, you're talking about this kind of hemopericardium and also the hemothorax. And if the lungs are demonstrating any kind of focal areas of hemorrhage there, and the heart as well, that will be particularly of particular interest traumatically, where each one of those elements will be not just in the sense that you're taking an overall shot, you're going to take very specific shots. And here's one other thing. They're going to take sections of that, and they're going to retain the sections. And that's standard practice.
Would those injuries, let's say those injuries were relative to heroic life-saving measures, CPR, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Would those injuries be consistent with a post-death? A guy's been dead 10, 15 minutes and then we start doing it? Or would that?
No, you're going to have at least some kind of like agonal respirations where, you're in kind of, there's 3 stages relative to the status of the dead. You've got antemortem that people hear about before death, right? Like going into a pyramid and you go into antechamber, right? You hear that term. And then you have postmortem after death, right? Well, there's that stage called perimortem, and it's kind of that milky twilight area. And you can still get focal areas of hemorrhage during that period of time. The lights are kind of.
Did you find out, buddy?
Yeah. So yeah, what they did is they just basically added a subsection 10 to the law that says a person who knowingly shares, publishes, or otherwise distributes or makes available to another person a photograph of a decedent that is part of the medical examiner's record pertaining to the autopsy of the decedent is guilty of a Class B misdemeanor unless the photograph is in the public domain at the time that the person shares. So it's like, but how does it get into the public domain?
Right.
So, but to me, that kind of says is that, okay, well, it can become public domain if it's shared, right?
Yeah.
If it's shared in court, if it's published in court
Right.
into the evidentiary record. And so to me, there seems to be, again, just my opinion, allegedly, there was a concerted effort here, must have been, to keep the medical examiner record and these photographs out of the public record. And perhaps they're waiting until trial to do that. But, you know, as they said earlier, it's weird that they didn't have the medical examiner's report or one person testify about.
Would a family
Charlie
ever
being
be an
deceased.
exception on that? Like initially, like before trial or before, you know, anything is actually sorted out. Is that something that the family would ever have access to before the general public?
They would have access to. So this law.
So I wonder if that's what it's addressing, is more like the family. You know.
It could be, yeah, the family or just someone who inadvertently gets it could not, you know. So that's weird. Like, how would it end up in the public record? I guess a family could share it into the public record. Would be one way. But it seems to me that if someone like
that seems like the only. I mean, things happen, leaks happen, but you know
they do.
If they're addressing something, I would say that they would be addressing something that technically would be a legal avenue for them to get into the public.
Well, so
that is no longer legal.
So here they specifically pulled out the photographs and made this special provision related to the photographs as opposed to any other part of the record. So, you know, it's
interesting.
It makes you wonder, right?
Hey, look, just like everything else in this case, it's the first time, unprecedented, you know.
And just a lot of coincidences, right?
Oh, God, a lot of them.
But in order for him to experience those injuries, it would have to be some evidence of life.
Yeah, they would. The dead don't hemorrhage.
So if he's dead at the scene, like they claim, and then they did CPR in the car, just for the heck of it.
But again, that's a perimortem state. So if you're doing chest compressions on somebody and they're in that perimortem state and you traumatize this area, it's going to demonstrate. Now, but
if he's missing his C-spine, he's dead.
Or at least he is in the process of dying. It all depends on when this was initiated.
Well, they're saying it was like 10, 15 minutes later.
How rigorous this was, you know, when they're doing this.
Yeah.
And it will present. And again, I don't know if these presentations that we're talking about, because I don't know what the ribs look like.
But if he's missing his C2 to C7 spinal cord, he's not breathing.
I wouldn't think that he would be. No.
So anything
that's part of that has impacted the autonomic nervous system.
Because if that happened simultaneous with the injury.
And I probably don't necessarily need to say this, but also I would think the heart's probably not beating either.
Yeah, no.
And that's all traumatically absent, they say.
That's what he's saying.
And transected.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be breathing.
Yeah, the lights have gone off.
Yeah, there's no more breathing.
Yeah.
So maybe he caught it in the last breath and there's a little hemorrhage.
There might be. And again, you don't know, again, back to this, because that's what I was going to say about, you know, lots of times with, and medical professionals can testify to this. You'll see, I've seen fractured sternums, you know, relative to, you know, you'll see this fractured, I've seen fractured ribs, all sorts of things. I've actually seen punctured lungs as a result of heroic measures.
But he'd have to have some measure of life.
Yeah, there would be something pumping through his system. That's why I'm very interested in kind of, again, back to this idea of the kinetic transfer of the energy, how much of this has impacted this area.
You notice, again, he doesn't say, you know, physical contact of a, you know, a fragment or, you know, projectile to the particular piece of tissue, you know.
Yeah.
That wording, I mean, is interesting.
And they're talking about the chest injury, right? That was mentioned.
I believe, you know what? Just back it up just a tad, just to make sure, because I was paying more attention to the terms he was using than.
Single thing here.
And you're talking hundreds potentially.
Yeah.
Or more?
Well, hundreds, I think that's a reasonable number. And you've kind of got a concentrated area, don't you?
Okay.
So how many
heart.
photographs can
So
you
they
take
were
of one
hemorrhaging
specific
around the
area?
heart.
Right.
You know,
Think
over
so.
and over and
But
over.
like as they're taking the organs out and documenting the injury to the heart and the lungs, are they photographing that before they remove it? Then
yeah,
as
they would
remove it?
have, and then they're going to take when they put an organ, when the technician hands the organ to the doctor, the organ actually goes onto a dissecting board. Sometimes they're cork. They look like they're about that thick. They
think
sit
I
on
went
a
back just
dissecting
a little
tray.
too
The cork
far.
board is up here, and the physician has all of their instruments here. So what they will do is they'll take the organ and they'll either photograph it on the dissecting board, or they'll take a. Have you ever seen a blue surgeon?
I wanted to. Okay, so Otto Hoax, yeah, what kept all the blood in his body? There are larger blood trails from men who cut themselves shaving. So I don't know. Obviously, there's a little bit of a difference in opinion there, but people that know have stated that the amount that came out initially was an extremely large amount. And it's just kind of hard to tell exactly how much did come out because of the fact that they were on that black plastic platform. So I don't really think there's much of a good way of knowing. But you also have to consider too that when they picked him up and carried him off, his heart was not beating. So I mean, it wasn't being pushed out. And also, best I remember from the video footage and pictures, they did have his head slightly elevated from the rest of his body. So there was a lot that came out at the beginning, and then maybe a combination of those two. You know, the heart not beating and his head being a little elevated would have kept there from being a huge trail. I don't know, but yes, I've heard that talked about a lot. That's a huge conversation. And, you know, you hear a lot of time people say, "Oh, there's no way he's dead because there just wasn't no blood. Where's the blood?" I mean, there was. It was just so much immediately right off the bat.
Drape. It's kind of a brilliant. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's kind of a baby blue color, I guess.
Oh, and it shines.
People pull it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. And it kind of contrasts.
Right.
So you would take, like with the heart. Yeah. That's exactly right. So you would have a.
Hey guys, y'all that got the memberships, the gifted memberships, welcome, and good to have you. Y'all need to be thinking about a topic, preferably a non-CK related topic, because that's normally what we talk about. But on the member shows, we like to do a little something different. But I was going to say, just do me one huge solid. Make sure you go in there and set that thing up to continue on after the first month. Otherwise, you'll drop off there, and then there will be.
There are drapes, not like you're doing surgery, but you lay it out flat, and so you'll take the organ and you'll rotate it. You know, left aspect, right aspect, straight on, posterior, and you're taking scales with each one of those. So you're popping all those, and then I'm just thinking heart here. As you're dissecting the heart, you're cutting. You're doing what's called bread loafing. So you're taking the big dissecting knife and you're slicing it, and you can flip through it like a book or like a loaf of bread, right? And you look for trauma or you look for any kind of natural disease pathology through each organ. Now you're talking about this kind of hemopericardium and also the hemothorax, and if the lungs are demonstrating any kind of focal areas of hemorrhage there, and the heart as well, that will be particularly of particular interest dramatically, where each one of those elements will be not just in the sense that you're taking an overall shot, you're going to take very specific shots. And here's one other thing, they're going to take sections of that and they're going to retain the sections. And that's standard practice.
Would those injuries, let's say it was those injuries relative to a heroic life-saving measures, CPR, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Would those injuries be consistent with a post?
Miss Susan's eating as he's talking about them slicing up the organs.
Sorry,
and
Miss
retaining.
Susan.
Death?
Earmuffs.
The guy's been dead 10, 15 minutes and then we start doing it? Or would that?
No, you're going to have at least some kind of like agonal respirations where, you're in kind of, there's 3 stages relative to the status of the dead. You've got antemortem that people hear about before death, right? Like going into a pyramid and you go into antechamber, right? You hear that term. And then you have postmortem after death, right? Well, there's that stage called perimortem, and it's kind of that milky twilight area. And you can still get focal areas of hemorrhage during that period of time. The lights are kind of going out at that point.
But in order for him to experience those injuries, it would have to be some evidence of life.
Yeah, they would. The dead don't hemorrhage.
So if he's dead at the scene like they claim, and then they did CPR in the car, just
Yeah,
for the heck of it.
Yeah, but again, that's a perimortem state. So if you're doing chest compressions on somebody and they're in that perimortem state and you traumatize this area, it's going to demonstrate. Now,
but if he's missing his C-spine, he's dead.
Yeah, or at least he is in the process of dying. It all depends on when this was initiated.
Well, they're saying it was like 10, 15 minutes
how
later.
rigorous this was, when they're doing this.
Yeah.
And it will present. And again, I don't know if these presentations that we're talking about, because I don't know what the ribs look like.
But if he's missing his C2 to C7 spinal cord, he's not breathing.
I wouldn't think that he would
Yeah.
be. No.
So
because
anything
that's part of that has impacted the autonomic nervous system.
Because if that happened simultaneous with the injury, and that's all traumatically absent, they say.
That's what he's saying.
And transected.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be breathing.
Yeah, the lights have gone off.
Yeah, there's no more breathing.
Yeah.
So maybe he caught it in the last breath and there's a little hemorrhage.
There might be. And again, you don't know, back to this, because that's what I was going to say about, lots of times with, and medical professionals can testify to this. You'll see, I've seen fractured sternums, relative to, this. You'll see this fractured. I've seen fractured ribs, all sorts of things. I've actually seen punctured lungs as a result of heroic measures.
But he'd have to have some measure of life.
Yeah, there would be something pumping through his system. That's why I'm very interested in kind of, again, back to this idea of the kinetic transfer of the energy, how much of this has impacted this area. Is this too far out? But we see how, going to your idea about the robust nature, that's a word again, of the 30-06. How far out did that kinetic energy extend? If we're talking about this and we're talking about this, how's it impacting the viscera, the underlying viscera? Yeah. And that's going to be a question that, again, back to test.
Hey, he's just asking questions.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. So if it took out his whole neck and he's dead, right?
Yeah.
That would have been done before it ever, any concussion would have reached the chest. He would have been dead.
Yeah.
So if that hemorrhaging couldn't have occurred while he was still technically alive, I mean, to me, that kind of vitiates that, right?
So I guess it depends on how you look at that. If it was literally like from a shock wave that originated from the microphone on his chest, then you would think the damage would have started at his chest and went up.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically this damage would have been happening before the spinal cord was severed.
So that's more consistent with an injury starting at the chest height, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Unless I'm confused, but I think you're right on that. Yeah. You would think so. Yep.
Testimony that the medical examiner will answer. I imagine that whoever the emergency room doc was in there.
Tamara, I thought y'all were talking about us.
I know, me too. I'm over here.
I was going to say, hey, buddy, not even talking about us. Then I saw these three, and I thought, who else? Oh.
I thought Heather was talking about my hair.
And maybe the nurses too. So you're going to get a real sense about what his status was in all of that.
And so timing, knowing these injuries. Yeah. How long do you think the thorax took?
I think that. I don't mean to point at you.
No, you can point.
No, I'm just saying, I think that these structures in here, and given the level of trauma, I could see this area alone probably taking up to an hour, perhaps, with the dissection here and trying to document everything, because we don't know what systems and what structures were impacted. And if this thing fragmented, you can have separate little satellite injuries in all of the vessels as well, and all of those are going to be annotated. And
then so they do that. It takes about an hour. Now, how do they determine the injuries to the brain?
Yeah. So, back to the neck real quick. This is going to be completely removed. And when I say completely, the tongue is coming out. Okay. So tongue comes out, you dissect posteriorly, and this is all laid out.
Okay. And that's the standard.
That is the standard, brother. And so they're going to take all of this. I'm hoping that they have retained all of this. I would.
But that's what you would do in that scenario. That's what a good.
I'd retain.
See, again, this doesn't sound like the process that Lauren was describing. To me, the process Lauren was describing was somebody dies of a heart attack. They open him up, definitely a heart attack, and then zip them back up. I mean, that's a little bit extreme, but I mean, when she was explaining the process, she was not talking about most all of this, the detail that he's talking about, I just don't see being able to be done in the few hours that they would have had to done it.
Oh no, not everything he's talking about. I mean,
I don't see how.
It sounds to me like, yes, if it would have been just very apparent from opening it up, oh, just direct gunshot, regular trauma to the neck, and maybe had an exit wound, right? That might have helped confirm that this was a gunshot, right? Because we have an exit wound. But without an exit wound, they probably have to go and do more in-depth analysis of, at that point, what all was injured in here. Like she said earlier, did the bullet ping pong around?
But the fact that he was done in a few hours, the fact that he was done in a few hours leads me to believe anyway that no matter what they actually thought, they just wrote it off as a gunshot and sent him on through. Instead of doing all of this, according to him, with that type of trauma, you would have to do all of this, go through all these steps. And I find it hard to believe they were able to do that in the short amount of time they had him there for an autopsy.
Yeah. And what did they say total? 3 hours? Do we know how long it took? 3 hours?
I don't remember. It was 3 or 4 hours, seems like.
And where did that come from? Was that in the...
Barron broke down the timeline.
Okay.
And that's all pretty much verifiable because he went through the whole timeline about when he got picked up and carried to here and from here to there. I can't remember the exact timeline, but the best I remember, it was 3 or 4 hours, something like that they would have ended up with to do that autopsy.
Yeah. Well, I think that a forensic pathologist would retain this area because it's demonstrative of this fatal trauma.
But could they meet the standard? I'm playing devil's advocate, but could they meet the standard by saying, well, we documented it really well, so we didn't think it needed to stay. We didn't think we needed to keep it. Or would it require keeping it to meet the standard?
I think that it would probably require to meet the standard because all the little vessels that are passing through here, you want to hold on to that. Right. I can't imagine, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but when you do an autopsy, people think that the organs all go back into the same place. They don't. They go into a bag and they're commingled with everything else, including the brain. And it's all been dissected. So you've got this big mass in a bag. I can't imagine any circumstance where you would take the organs of the neck and just after this kind of event and just toss them into a bag and send them to the funeral home. They'd probably be destroyed, more than likely.
Yeah, I was just going to ask a really stupid question.
It's not
stupid. Thought of this, though. Was he an organ donor, and does that have any impact on this
way
whatsoever?
At that point.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you could harvest off of a body in this state would be skin and bone.
Okay.
And that does happen. And also eye enucleation, you can get corneas. But yeah, that's and this is a homicide case. I can't imagine, even if you are an organ donor, the ME would be well advised not to give permission to do that. And they trump that decision relative to organ donation.
Yeah. Got it. So we have the timeline now. I want to make sure I'm about right here. Maybe it's about 11:30 based on everything we've talked about, 11:15, 11:30. And as you've laid out, Joseph, you would have been going over the top to make sure all the proper photos are taken and everything is done correctly. And they really focused on, obviously, the area of the most trauma. We discussed way earlier the fact that you want to know where the fuck that shirt is and what they would have done there. And you already laid out how you would have gridded that out.
Yes.
And so what else would there be to do at this point?
You got to open the head. That's the big part here. And not just open it. When we do the dissection of the head, again, reflection, the incision is made from behind the ear. It goes from ear to ear like this, and the scalp is pulled forward. Or pulled back posteriorly, and you're going to, if you'll place your fingers right here, you feel all these attachments and musculature that's back here. With an injury like this, we're going to dissect all the way down. I mean, really, really get into this very, very deep, and we're going to look for any kind of focal areas of hemorrhage on the backside. Well, first, we're going to examine the backside of the neck. We saw what happened with the ballooning. Remember, we were seeing that. And, of course, they're not going to know that at the time of the autopsy. That videography was presented
days later.
Yeah, days later. So, but...
Ooh, there's a question. Since this was public, though, would the medical examiner be requesting access to any and all video that we already have in the public domain or that the investigators may have?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any... It would... Here's the rub, and this is more of a legal thing. So... How do you, if the ME is using
Auto hoax, I've been trying to get through this first, but I'm going to cover that John Cullen material in the very near future.
The videography to make a scientific determination, how do you validate the source of the videography? And that would be a question I think the prosecutor and both defense would ask because, how does that play into play into, say, for instance, the decision that the ME is going to make. And they might even ask, well, you saw the video. How does that influence your findings here? So I think that that's very important to try to understand.
So do they extract how do they get into the brain?
Yeah.
So they pull the skin, but you got a skull?
So after you have reflected anteriorly and then posteriorly, you have to now remove the temporal muscles, which are on either side of the skull. And again, you have to examine all of the musculature back here.
And are you taking pictures this whole way?
All the way. Yeah, there'll be tons and tons of pictures of the head.
Very interesting to me, by the way, everything that you would have preserved. And you've been talking about that throughout the day, but you just laid it out a couple minutes ago as well, because if we find out at trial that any of that was not preserved, it hurts the case potentially.
I think that it does. Yeah, I think that it does. And again, going back to the vertebral bodies, maybe they don't take C2 through C7, but I think that it's incumbent to take those bodies that are specifically impacted by this round or whatever this was, and you have to demonstrate, this piece that you've Baron, that you've talked about relative to the obliteration of the spinal cord. You have to demonstrate an absence of the spinal cord, right? Or the remnant, the sheath that the spinal cord goes up through, or is encased in, rather, as poorly stated. You have to demonstrate that, and the retention of those vertebral bodies, I think, is essential here. Any kind of cosmetic things that you're thinking about relative to funeral practices and all that.
I mean, as half-assed as every other aspect of this whole entire investigation has been from the very beginning. I mean, I just find it so hard to believe that they kept vertebra and, spinal cord and tongue and, larynx. And I don't know.
Yeah, my question, it's weird. Like, I guess if you keep portions of someone's spinal cord, you really got to lay them down in that casket, and you know what I mean? I guess their head would kind of be, it's just weird. It seems
I'm sure there's a way that the morticians can do something. Because I mean, he even said if it was him that had done the autopsy, he would have kept all of it, that whole section of neck.
Yeah.
Which would mean that when it went to the mortician, I mean, it literally, they'd have to attach that somehow. So I'm guessing that's something that's something I'm going to look into. Yeah. I'd like to see what they do in those situations, because you can't wait till after trial to have a, funeral. So, I mean, they've got to have a way of,
So this will be interesting. I mean, God bless Julian for having this conversation. Like, now we know, the public knows that we need to be cognizant that when this goes to trial, the defense needs to be going full force at the medical examiner, and they need to be asked, did you preserve? Now the public knows what questions,
what to be looking for, and what
we need to be hearing from the defense, right? And so again, we're all thinking who's on what side here. Well, we've got some further indicia that we can stay aware of and listen for.
Yeah, I mean, if we get the medical examiner on the stand and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I opened up his neck and there was a hole there," so.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Which is what I'm expecting to hear.
Yeah. And again, specific. Well, and another thing too, is that the defense should have their own medical examiner expert. That should be examining this. And again, like he said, should they have kept the spine? Yes. So that way, if the defense gets their expert,
I would give anything to see him be hired by the defense.
They have physical proof of the spinal injury that he's talking about.
Yep. Yeah, because look, a lot of times, people got questions about the way this thing, happens. And then, like in the case with Mr. Jeffrey, they had Michael Bowden go back over everything and look through the, he's done a lot of those, go back over autopsies, and make another report. But yeah, I mean, if there is any question whatsoever, I mean, if you've got those things, those questions can be answered.
Yeah.
And that may be the point of why there are no such things that have been retained.
Yeah,
now they may have been retained, but I believe if they haven't been retained, I think that'll be an answer as to why.
Well, yeah, exactly. But again, at the end of the day, just so y'all are aware, the defense should have an expert, and according to this guy, he should be able to examine, or whoever it is, he or she, or furry, should be able to examine this section of Charlie Kirk's spine.
Yeah. Yep. According to him, they should have kept all that of the spine, the spinal cord. So we'll see. We shall see. And they're probably going to get on the stand, and we were under a lot of pressure to get this done quickly because of who they are, and Air Force Two going to be waiting on the tarmac. But let me tell you something. This guy was loved by millions. You probably should stop and think about what this is going to look like if it's half-assed.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, they can sit there and say pressure all day, but a court, hopefully
Air Force Two can circle around a little while.
Hopefully our society places the integrity of our justice system above any individual.
Yeah. And that's what he was saying. I mean, he hates it when people get treated different.
Getting treated different, one thing, getting treated different to the detriment of another and potentially to lose their life is unacceptable.
Yep. And that's what he was saying too, is a lot of times with high profile people, it's not that it's not that they get pressure to be so much more thorough and all that. Most of the time, if they're under some type of pressure, it is to get it done quicker, get answers to the public, get them back to the family members and all that. And that's what he was saying. He likes to treat everybody the same, because if you do cave under the pressure and you do this faster than need be, then in the end you get bitten, because you may need to go back and you can't go back. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
That's all secondary,
right.
Because
you can always close the casket.
Well, you can always close the casket, and plus, mortuary science people do incredible things. Yeah. I mean, they really.
There you go.
It's amazing what they do. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it, but it's amazing what they can do. So, you have to.
That's what he was talking about. Was Barron was talking about keeping all those, items. Yeah. Barron was like, you could always do a closed casket. And he was like, no, those mortuary guys, they can do some crazy things.
Open. So. You're going to have
I thought he said mortuary science.
That's what he said. Mortuary science. That is really, really extreme there.
And carefully remove the brain. And first off, you're going to have to do, once you get the calvarium off, which is the skull cap itself, once you remove the calvarium, you're going to look at it. Looks like a bowl, okay? And then the brain will be here. It'll be interesting to see if he noted any kind of swelling in the brain, because that's a reaction. You get a reaction to trauma. You'll have to weigh the brain. Oh, by the way, all these organs are being weighed, and there's a standard that you look for, and it's bracketed. No two people are the same. Sure. So these weights are bracketed for an individual at this age, his body weight, all these sorts of things. And so they're going to weigh, they're going to examine the brain in place. They're going to make note if it appears swollen or not. If the vessels in the brain are dilated, if they see any kind of evidence of congestion in the brain, again, that's a reactive kind of thing, because you're talking about cerebral spinal trauma, right? So you have to make note of that. It would not surprise me at all if they got a consult from a neuropathologist in this case as well, somebody that they would reach out to that is probably on contract. Trust me, medical examiners have contracts with neuropathologists, because neurotrauma is something you deal with a lot.
They just send them a picture and say, what do you think?
No.
They bring them in physically.
Bring them in, or you hold the brain. You retain the brain. Okay. Yeah, and the brain is preserved. And I'd be interested.
He's making all kinds of notes, because he's fixing to go back and he was like, really?
Who, Barron?
Yeah. I mean, he just said they either are going to call in a neuro guy to be there physically, or they're going to retain the brain.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the moral of the story here, we can tell you, is that if there's questions, they err on the side of physically maintaining that piece of the body.
And it's less and less likely that they did a good, thorough, up to his standards at least, autopsy in just a few hours.
Yeah.
to know
Yeah,
if the brain
especially
was
if you're having to call in other experts, right?
Yeah. Just that alone could end up taking,
you never know
hours
how
for
far
him to get
somebody
there.
is. Yeah, you never know with doctors.
affected that day, or if they fix the brain, which means that you set the brain up in a solution, because the brain is it's kind of like a heavy wet sponge. It's hard to dissect in the immediate. So you fix the brain in formalin, not formaldehyde, but it's called formalin. It's akin to formaldehyde. And then after it has fixed, you wait days later, and then you do the bread loafing on the brain. And you can get a neuroconsult. They'll come in and take a look at it. You might even, I've been involved in cases where we had neuropathologists that have come in and they've actually done the dissection with a forensic pathologist right there. I'm not saying that's what happened here.
Hey, there you go, Greg. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. Earlier in this interview, was he talking about the fact that like investigators are present during these autopsies, or?
I think that he said they can be, and sometimes they are. Yeah, but not necessarily. And what do you think about this Project Nexus, this comment? They need to make it a law that any time a suspected homicide or questionable death happens, that the whole autopsy is recorded via third party.
Oh, yeah, recorded, yeah, like video.
And the mortuary or ME or cops cannot alter it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
But there's so much potential neuropathology here involved in this, and you're going to want to get that brain stem. You have to collect it and
preserve it.
Yeah, most definitely.
What does it tell you?
Well, brain stem is therein rests the autonomic nervous system, right? Okay. And so that's lights out right there. So any kind of trauma, if it was impacted anyway at all, again, I hate to keep saying this, better to have it, and not have it, and hold on to it.
When do you suspect, and if I skip something here,
no, okay,
bring us back, but doing it all correctly by the book, if that is how it was done, and saying maybe they started at 8:30, when do you think this would have been done? And when it is done, what is the process?
That's where this whole thing was going. He finally was like, look, I'm just going to ask it.
It's right there. Of custody of the body. What is that time?
Yeah, I'm thinking, again, I'm spitballing here just based on my personal experience with something like this. 1-ish, 1:30-ish probably. I would imagine if you get started at that exact time.
Exactly at 8:30 or whatever.
Yeah, you're going to need that kind of cushion here.
So he's saying, what, 5 hours?
Yeah, roughly.
On first off, how well
and they're talking about PM,
the
right?
pathologist works.
Yeah.
With their technician and the photographer, getting that, because it's like a dance. It's kind of weird, right? You've got these people that are moving about the body doing photography, and any kind of technicians that are there, they're doing it, and everybody has their role to play. How smoothly, how well oiled is this? And so I would think that if you started at 8:30, 1:30 might be an outer marker, I think.
So they would document the start time and finish time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's going to be in the kind of, this is what it'll read like. It'll be, and you check it yourself, it's gold. There's that little preamble in the beginning of an autopsy report, and it generally states something like, this prosector was met at the morgue by technician so-and-so, officer so-and-so, down the line. So it literally enumerates everybody that's present in there. This autopsy was started at 30 hours on this date. And then they're going to go into...
And are they dictating as they go, or someone taking notes?
Most of the time they're taking notes. Little interesting aside, how I got to work in the morgue, this is how I started. I worked as a scribe.
Oh, where you were writing?
I was, and I had to learn on the fly. So I would work with a forensic pathologist, because they don't have the microphone. There's too much noise. You can't do it. And so I would sit there and just feverishly take notes, and I'm having to learn as I'm going. And I learned this as a young man. I was 20 years old, just sitting there on a stool, listening to everything that he said. And by God, you better not get it wrong. And having to take down measurements and all that.
So wait a minute.
Because he's dirty and you're not. Your hands are clean. So they will walk over and write, and they'll write on a grease board. But if they're asking for specific notes, you're writing down for them.
So there's nothing that happens where, like, when I'm in a doctor's office, I'll see my doctor lean over after I tell him what's wrong with my ankle or something like that, and he'll make vocal notes of it and say, like, patient reports, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
There's nothing like that happens?
Most of the time, not in it. Again, variable. But in my experience, most will wait until they degloved, wash their hands.
So they will do it after?
They can.
Okay.
And depending upon their caseload, I've seen doctors sit down with all of their notes, and they might sit down. I've seen doctors dictate 8 cases in one day. and I don't see how they remember some of the stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's mind blowing to me. But with this case,
with those injuries,
you're going to step to. I mean, I can't state what this person did. I have no idea, but I know that you would want to do it while your memories were fresh. And that's a question that defense attorneys never ask doctors, which is kind of interesting. They never say, when did you dictate this? And how many other cases were you doing that day? I remember sitting down and having lunch one day with a guy, Dr. Gold, who did the autopsy on Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. And I just asked him straight out. I was like, and we were at an affiliate meeting in St. Louis, as a matter of fact, and I'd never met anybody from LA County Coroner. I'd seen Dr. Noguchi speak, but I was just sitting here, and it turns out this guy, and I was like, what's your typical day like? Like when you go into the shop, how many autopsies you're doing? He's telling me some days he'll do 12 and 13 autopsies in one day. And they were really short-staffed.
That's crazy.
And this is before the O.J. Simpson thing. So I was sitting there and I was having a conversation with him.
It's like a dog groomer.
And then in the meantime, you're spending the next day. You're not on duty the next day. And by the by, you got to go testify. You imagine in LA County how many cases you have to testify in. So anyway, the volume sometimes I wouldn't think their volume would be like that. Yeah. I'm just stating that. It's kind of wild, and you think about everything they have to retain at that moment in time.
So what happens if they finish on or about 1:30? ME goes in to dictate and all that. Where's the body? What might be a decent timeline for the body to be taken possession of to go to the funeral, the local funeral?
Almost immediately. I've been present for autopsies where we stop. Sometimes
how long does that take? 10 minutes?
At most, yeah. Sometimes funeral homes don't want you to sew the body, because every time you do a baseball stitch like this, and every time you pull a needle through, that's another hole they have to patch. If they're trying to preserve the body. So sometimes they will just say, leave it like it is, like that. And I've pulled bodies directly off of tables in a bag. We put them back in a body bag, or we'll do the autopsy in the body bag, pull them over onto the funeral director's gurney, and out the door they go.
Let me ask you one final question before we go back to timeline.
Yes,
anything on the back of the body? Mm-hmm. So we did the Y, we did the neck, we did the head.
Yeah, they're going to dissect there'll be a muscle dissection back here too.
All these muscles.
Yeah, there'll be. And all that stuff's going to be visualized. And you know how you asked me just a few moments ago about they're taking a look at the back. Mm-hmm. Well, you have to take a look at the back again, because when you saw the back initially, this wasn't dissected. Mm-hmm. And so you literally have to reorient the body again with this being demonstrated back here to take the shot back here to say, again, either it's present or it's absent. And so that the doc can not only see it for their own personal reference, but it can be demonstrated in court, because that's going to be a question. Certainly in this case,
and it would obviously fall below the standard to not do that to the back.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got to do it. You've got to do this dissection back here, snap the photos, and then also if you do see evidence of hemorrhage, again, back to this idea of the macro, intermediate, and micro photographs, you're going to dictate it. And look, fellas, I know it's very tedious, but if you're looking to do something quick and dirty in forensic pathology, you're in a wrong field. It's like working on watches. Sometimes it's like, some days it's really, really easy, but you get something that's very, very detailed. It takes a while.
Okay, so going back to timeline, 1:30, you said it can happen quickly with the local funeral home taking possession of the body. And also at some point here, I remember you explained this to me in that first phone call we had shortly after his death, when I called you about all this that was referenced earlier, how funeral homes will work like florists, because obviously he was then flown to a different funeral home in Arizona, which means they would have been in touch with the one in Utah saying what they wanted done with the body for it to get there. So maybe you can explain that. But like, what does the custody of the body look like after 1:30, and how reasonable is it for it to be in front of Erica Kirk and family at 12:30 or 1 o'clock that day local time?
I don't think that's an unreasonable amount. To me, it's not. Here's the thing about it, y'all. I don't know.
Hey, do you see that?
Was that
chat? Did you see that chat from Heather? I just happened to see it go by.
Does a JSM figure come before or after the ME enters the picture? What?
I'm trying to JSM figure. I feel like I should know what she's talking about.
JSM figure. The medical examiner. If you could just elucidate on those a little bit further on those. I think ME stands for medical examiner.
Yeah. What the JSM is.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'll probably feel really dumb whenever you do, but
Yeah.
What kind of preceding prep they've done before the body is transported from the local funeral home. I'm not talking about from the medical examiner. The medical examiner will, clean the body, will wash the body after this, all right, to a certain degree, but not to the degree.
Tamara, you live in Utah. How close are you from Orem or Provo or that general area?
The funeral home.
That's interesting.
Okay? So the funeral home would take possession of the body. They have to sign. There's a release document that you have to sign. And also, here's an interesting thing too. There's a personal effects log.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Okay.
I think she's talking about, does the forensic pathologist come before or after?
Okay. Somebody like him.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I think probably before, and then the medical examiner comes in the last. They sign the report, and so, yeah,
probably so.
Yeah, so they probably do most of the legwork of doing all the examining, taking the notes, all that, and then the medical examiner probably comes in, goes over it with them, takes a look, and then signs off on it.
Yeah. So Heather, yes, he is a forensic. He's a forensic pathologist, and I'm guessing he will do all the nitty gritty, dirty work, to figure out exactly what's what. And then this is not fact. This is just makes sense to me and Greg too, obviously. But then the medical examiner will come in and I guess look over everything and sign off on it.
Yeah.
Typically, if an individual came in with a wallet,
and if I find out that's not right, well, I'll correct the record next time we do this.
rings, like wedding rings, that sort of stuff, that would be turned over. However, you think, we were talking about the necklace a little while ago. Well, how did she? If this is the way it happened, how'd she get her hands on the necklace? Did it come from the ME's office, or did it?
Oh, that's the way it happened. She definitely has the necklace.
Yeah, no doubt. Huh?
If Frank Turek can be believed, it came from him. He gave it to someone she knows who gave it to her.
Yeah. So he took it off the body at some point before it was ever at ME.
Apparently, the police searched the SUV, and then he went back out to the SUV to grab his bag, and the necklace was there. He grabbed the necklace.
This is how this conversation is supposed to go. The conversation is supposed to go, oh, I found a necklace back here. It's got blood on it, and it's torn apart. Can you guys send somebody else back out here? We need to photograph this right here. And then it's none of my business at this point. And I'm talking about the finder. The police collect that. They take it into evidence.
Yeah.
That's how the conversation goes. It doesn't go any other way, period. And again, I don't know what's real and what's Memorex here. So I have no idea. So that would be the way I would view it.
One thing about it, if I'm gonna die in some suspicious manner, hopefully it's in Alabama.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So everything, any kind of effects that don't have evidentiary value would be released along with the body.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that is funny. That's a good one, Susan. Erica, if you're still in the chat, Joseph Scott Morgan says, give the necklace back now. The Erica Franzfenstein.
Yeah.
Wedding ring.
What about a cell phone?
I got to tell you, if I'm an investigator, I want a cell phone.
He's a murder victim.
Right.
Someone might have texted him, sent him a message.
Cell phones are the new crime scene. that's the world that we're in now. Every cell phone plays some role.
Do you think it falls below the standard to hand the phone to the wife?
If you're in law enforcement, yeah, I do. Yeah, the ME shouldn't have anything to do with a cell phone. The body comes in with a cell phone. In a case like this, hey, you guys need to get back over here. We got a cell phone.
Gotcha.
We'd like for you to.
But you think the police should have retained possession of the cell phone?
Yes. Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just
Is there anything in the timeline?
Just the statistic of how often or probable it is that the person who kills someone knows them. You know what I mean? Just that alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though it was this seemingly a random thing, but still the statistic, like he says, I think it plays into standard protocol at this juncture.
The sad fact of it is, most of the time, random people don't just, I say it's a sad fact, I don't know, but the fact is, most of the time, in most cases, random people don't just kill people they don't know for no reason. Now, does the reason justify murder? No, never. But there is always a reason, at least
the circumstances could be in the phone, regardless of whether the person directly was in contact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's never rarely a complete stranger.
Seemingly, depending on who you believe, but it seems like yeah, they could have probably, in my opinion, they could have figured out what the circumstances
I'm
leading
sure.
to the event, i.e. the text with donor stuff,
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But I mean, like 90% of the time, it's either love triangle, business partner, business deal, goes sour, some type of insurance, most of the time it's sad, but that's the way, I mean, that's why these murders happen. It's not just because somebody doesn't like the way you look at them when you pass them on the street.
Yeah.
Line here in this 24 hours, Baron, that you need more clearance on as far as what Joseph's laid out?
No, I mean, I think you've done an excellent job laying it out, genuinely.
Oh, hell. Tamara said she used to live in St. George. Damn. You don't know Tyler's bunch, do you? Lord have mercy. We're getting closer and closer to ground zero.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was enlightening because I've never been to an autopsy. I've never seen the results of an autopsy. I've seen pictures. I've seen read, passages, but I've never seen it front to back like that. That was interesting.
Well,
God, I can't talk.
It's fascinating to me, just on an aside, to be able to participate in this. So thank you all.
We still got some more here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying
to
be able, no, just to lay this out though, because my preference is for everybody should understand how the process works. And for years and years, people have always been so guarded, right, about what goes on in the morgue, how it's processed, because either people are offended by it or they just don't want to hear about it, but you need to know how this works.
Right.
And this is a key to this.
I also do want to say, Baron, I really, really appreciate you doing this second one today as well, because to be honest with you, I really felt sick to my stomach after the last podcast because I'm not the expert on this case. And frankly, I accidentally hung Joseph out to dry with a couple things on the case. I'm dead serious. And it made me really sick to my stomach. And the blame was going at you publicly, and it should have been going at me. And so to be able to do this with like the preeminent litigator, like public litigator on the case in this way is extremely helpful. And this is, in my opinion, I hope people out there agree, this is going great with laying out the details. So you can blame me for the last one there, but now we can actually go through everything. So timeline there set up. Obviously, once he's taken Arizona and it's a whole funeral situation, now at this point, the evidence process is finished. Whatever's been fucked up has been fucked up.
Well, it's been collected. It's certainly not finished.
Yeah,
We're just
sorry.
Yeah.
So the collection, meaning like using his body as a piece of evidence to get everything you're going to need for any later testing or stuff like that has been done.
Yep. Okay. You're on target with that. Yes, it is, and that's the key here because once the body's gone out the door, Yeah. You can't unring the bell at that point. Okay. So you have to make sure that everything you're going to collect, everything that you need, you have acquired at that point in time. So yes.
The next thing we've now gotten, because again, there's a lot of things that were leading up to Charlie being killed that Baron obviously looks into heavily. That's not your space. We're talking about it.
Whoa, now. All right. Don't be making jokes now.
Yeah. One thing too is that, if they chose not to grab those items out of Charlie before they sent him away, well, the other option is to exhume the body. I mean, I see a position where if the defense doesn't have but very much needs access to those items and they're not there, I mean, they could file a motion to exhume that body and let, especially the bone and other items that would likely still be intact that could be examined.
Unless, like a lot of people suspect, he got cremated.
Or just isn't
anywhere to be found,
kicked up on a beach in Valhalla.
Yeah. Hey, do you see that? Do you see the comment on the screen?
Yeah, I do. Hey, wow, that's incredible. What grade when you say primary?
Look, scrolling across the top is my email address. Please shoot me an email.
Yeah, please reach out to Adam.
Yeah, please do that.
From the investigation standpoint here. So that stuff obviously refer to Baron's channel as usual, everybody. But when we're talking about this rooftop video that I know you've had a chance to see now that got released, I guess, last week by Candace, and you've broken it down on your show, Baron, see if we have this ready to go, right? So what had happened was they played a video in court that then was misrepresented by certain people in court coming outside of the preliminary hearing. We've already been through this, Joseph. And now Candace Owens has released a video that I believe, Baron, she got from law enforcement. Is that correct?
I have no idea where she got it.
Okay. Don't hold me to that. I want to say that's what she said in this episode, but people in the comments help out here. That is basically like a closer rendering of this video to where we can actually see the figure on the rooftop in a better range, if you will. It's still foggy in the sense that you can't see their actual face. But we'll play the video right now. What you can observe on it, and Baron, you and I had a chance to go through this on the last episode, but what you can observe is that the person on the rooftop, whether it's Tyler Robinson or not, does not appear to have a limp, as Tyler Robinson did, does not appear to be hiding, what is it, a 3-foot gun in
3.5.
Yeah, it should be longer. Yes, longer.
3.5 foot gun in his pants. He's moving carefully. He also then, this individual is able to do, if I may say, what appears to be a pretty perfectly executed military crawl once he gets down onto the ground, and then is able to get into some sort of position where we cannot see him maneuver a 3.5 foot gun quickly onto the ground, and then is doing a signal as well. We see like a bright flash. Again, we're going to look at this in a second. And we also see that there's no evidence that a 3.5 foot gun is whipped around for him to get up and then run off of the actual roof. And we do not see evidence of an actual trigger pull as well. Maybe it happened, but you cannot tell on this video. So let's let it play for people. And then Baron, if you want to add in any commentary as this is playing of like what you were seeing, that might be helpful as well. Go ahead, Beef. So he's going down into position.
I think this flash we're about to see, I think people have pretty demonstrably figured out it's a windshield.
A windshield.
Car. Yeah.
Okay. So that wouldn't be coming from him. It's coming from someone else. All right, so that's the military crawl right there.
Yeah, at first, when I saw that flash, I agreed with some people online that it looked like he had something in his hand that he was flashing, maybe some
like
kind of signal or something.
Like a beacon or a satellite.
Right. But if you watch it and you slow it down and you really, really watch it, you can see that exact same flash work its way down the screen.
Okay.
And it does look like it's right there in front of everything. But again, if you slow it down and you really watch, it's not. I'm convinced it's a windshield or something down there.
Yeah.
And on the way to this, he was not limping. But here's the military crawl demonstration.
But see how he's holding the gun out to the side when he's crawling the guy on the right?
Yeah.
I don't see that in the guy on the left.
I don't see that either. And that's the windshield you're talking about right there.
Yeah, I think people have, because they saw it sequentially coming towards that person and the timing adds up. I don't know definitively. There's the military belly crawl. And some sort of flipping out of something. I don't know what that is. Looks like.
Yeah, Jesse on Fire did a live stream earlier with, oh God, what's that other big podcaster's name that's a Navy SEAL? Anyway, go look on Jesse. Go look on Jesse's YouTube channel. He did a live stream and he was explaining that in Navy SEAL training that they were taught that exact crawl. And he even called it a low lateral crawl.
Is Jesse a Navy SEAL?
No. He had on a guest that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I can't remember that guy's name. He's got a huge podcast too. But anyway, he said that is definitely a thing, because you got all these assholes that were laughing and there literally is nothing like that. There literally is no kind of, he doesn't have to be trained to do this, So
yeah.
Anyway, dude said that they definitely learned that in training as SEALs.
It looks to me like a mat or something he crawls up on, but I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But I still don't see a gun. And he lies down in the prone position. And then we don't see, that I can tell, another movement until he gets up to run.
And this is all in real timing, and they're not skipping any frames here or anything. This is just straight through. So he's lying down. Yeah. Maybe he's been still for 10 seconds, give or take.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell, but again, I don't see an enormous weapon being maneuvered right there.
Yeah, I think the absence of the weapon really comes out when you see him get up and run.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be
in a second. He's not even looks like he's close enough to the edge of the roof to take a shot.
Those are all cars
exactly
in the background right there. That's below.
Yeah, there he gets up to go.
Yeah, he does not have a weapon. There's no way, dude. He did not have a gun when he did
It's a 10-pound gun.
Dude, there's no way.
It's a 10-pound gun. You would have seen a separate movement. He would have had to have got up and then, raised the gun up, or maybe vice versa, been able to raise the gun up and then jump up. One movement straight up from the ground to a dead run. I'm sorry.
I don't see a gun.
I don't see it.
Baron said he did this out there in his yard, and he said, no, there's no way he's got a gun.
Like I saw a bag or a towel or a mat or something flapping around.
3.5 foot gun. I mean,
30-06 is a big gun.
Yeah, it's robust.
I took a bunch
I
of
agree,
rifles
Otto
out
Hoax, about that from the prone. He's not close enough to the edge.
in my front yard and tried to recreate that crawl.
Right, yeah.
To begin with, my neighbors probably thought it was
Do we have video of that?
not released, nor will you see it.
No, we're getting that video.
But it was a feat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something you're going to do with a 30-06 on the first try. I don't think.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most unathletic person I've ever encountered. Tyler looks significantly less athletic than I think I am. But you have to hold it out to kind of counterbalance as you go.
Well, most of the time in the military, I can't recall. This weapon wasn't equipped with a sling, was it? Didn't have a sling.
It didn't have it in the pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
So if it had a sling, devil's advocate.
Because you'd hook your index finger through the sling with military, even with like low crawling like this. They teach you to hook your finger and you turn your head from the side, like this. And the side crawl thing, I've never seen anybody do that. I'm assuming they do it.
I've never seen anyone do it.
Yeah, I haven't. Hey, let me ask you something, because from a forensic standpoint, one of the things I'd be very interested in this, and I've talked about this in a couple of other cases that it's coming to.
It was Sean Johnson that Jesse on Fire had on his show. Sean Johnson, he's a podcaster and a Navy SEAL.
Mike? Sean Johnson, Navy SEAL.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He hangs out with Alex Jones a bunch.
Okay.
Play now in the digital world. If they have this video, there's a couple of things I'm interested in. First off, when we have those facial shots of where he's allegedly coming up and down the stairwell or whatever it is, I wonder if they did biometrics on those. If FBI has applied biometrics to this. With this in particular, I'd be very interested if they're going to do forensic gait analysis here, which is something that we see with, like, where we have CCTV. Like, there's a couple of cases I covered where somebody came into somebody's apartment, killed them. I've covered them body bag extensively, and then they just kind of vanish, and you can actually see them in profile walking. Comes to mind a case up in Ohio where the dentist traveled to Ohio, I think it was a dentist, and killed the husband and wife in their home, and you can see him walking down the alley. And gait analysis they were talking about that. So how you move, right? And so FBI does gait analysis, and it's something that's been used in medical circles for a long time, because they do occupational therapy, physical therapy. How are you moving up against a gridded wall? Gives you an idea of movement. You can see if the individual, when we talk about footprints, we talk about pronate, supinate, all those sorts of things, the stride distance, and those are things that might be measurable here. I don't know, but if they got their hands on the video, that'd be a question. If there's any question about identity here, I think that's something that
I never considered that.
Yeah. So it's just gait analysis. You can, and it's not my bailiwick, but
That's
I'm just
something
saying.
I was wondering about. All the video we've got of him allegedly walking here, there, and everywhere. Somebody could easily do a gait analysis on all of those video clips and tell you right away whether it's the same person or not.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure you can do that through AI. I was thinking about that. I may try to do that myself.
Well, AI is good for some stuff, but hey, not so good for other stuff.
Right.
It's all backwards, dude. It's it's got to the point to where it's so ridiculous that sometimes it's hard for me to even get the drive to want to talk about it. Hardly sometimes.
I know. Yep. True.
And then what about the gun? So the gun he abandoned in the woods, was it right by there?
That's the official narrative.
That's the official
that he jumps
narrative.
off
That's the narrative.
a rifle, runs across the street, turns right, goes. I don't know if he goes into the trees immediately or down the road, but then dumps it. I don't know, 6, 8, 10 feet off the road or something.
And like a rookie cop or something found it.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. From an evidence standpoint of the gun.
Well, it was the FBI, right? It was the FBI that. No, I take that back. It was shortly after the FBI showed up.
Yes.
Help for the gun, but some rookie cop.
It was a rookie cop that actually found it. Yep. Hey, why don't you go look one more time, right over there by the chicken house?
You want there, and then what are you most looking for to be able to
as
actually
few hands
match
on
it?
this weapon as possible. Whoever found it, they secure it.
And something I've said before, and I don't know if I've told you this before or not, but it's a double. Okay, so you got your Gary Meltons and all your other of that kind that have been have argued because, Candace from day one has talked about the dogs. They had the dogs there. Why did they not find the gun? Either the gun had not been shot or either that or it was not there when they had the dogs out. Well, Gary has made this dumb argument about how not necessarily bomb dogs can't necessarily smell guns and scent trail dogs can't necessarily smell guns or bombs and vice versa. They all have their own specialty. Okay, that's fine. So let's just assume that the dogs.
Well, then why did they have a dog out there? Were they thinking that he dropped a bag of Coke on the way out? What are they even doing out there? The dogs,
Well, Gary was saying that the only dogs they had out there were scent trail dogs, and okay. So let's just give him that. There were no bomb dogs, no gun dogs. So after Tyler Robinson walked
Allegedly.
and climbed, yes, as far as he did with this gun in his pants, more than likely sweating all over it, and then gets into position, pulls it out, puts it together, lays there, more than likely sets a sweaty face on the side of it, pulls the trigger, and then heads to the woods. Let's say they don't have a gun dog
with his DNA and presumably scent.
They don't have a
all
gun
over
dog
it.
out there. But if they had a scent to give to the dog, then why in the hell did it not still take them straight to that gun?
Yeah. Because they would have had a scent, right? I mean, he touched the side of the building.
Yeah, the only way I know they would have had a scent without giving the game away is maybe taking the dog over to where he landed on the ground or something.
But laid on the fucking roof.
I don't think they ever had the dogs on the roof, but regardless, still, that being said, why did the dog still not go straight to the gun?
Yeah.
It didn't have to be a bomb dog. It could have been a scent trail dog. Should have still sniffed its way right straight to it.
When you say that they didn't have the dogs on the roof, do you
probably whoever found the weapon, they may have, and I don't mean this in a negative way, okay? Don't misread what I'm saying. They may have manipulated the covering in some way just to verify. Like they may have picked it up.
All right, y'all let me know if it does it again.
They moved it. They moved
I'll
the towel
refresh.
that this thing is wrapped in. You have to note that. So the finder, which would be this officer, the finder.
Yeah, I may just do that. It seems like everybody in the chat said they had
quick bathroom break for me, but keep on going. You're good.
All right, cool. See if that's better, guys.
Did you touch the towel? Did you touch the weapon? Did you touch the surface of the weapon in any way?
Did you touch the shrubs?
Yeah, Greg got that old man bladder. Hey, my wife has got I always tell her she's got a bird bladder or a squirrel bladder. She's the same way.
Anything around it, you'd be looking, and even depending upon how, soft this area is, did you disrupt anything here as far as like potential footprints? Is there mulch nearby where there's impressions
Y'all
into the
hear me?
surrounding area? So I'm just thinking right now out loud, what types of things are you going to be looking for that could be connected to the weapon and the space that it occupies? And even like,
would that be documented that they asked those questions?
Yeah, and it should be documented photographically because let's just say we have a
Heather,
weapon
my sound
in the middle
good
of the table
now?
laid out before us.
Or are you still not hearing
one of the
me?
reasons we follow the points of the compass, I want to know points of ingress and egress. Like if you're putting it here, how did you get to that point? What's the most obvious path that you would have taken? And I want to take a photograph, showing that. I might even put somebody in the photograph for scale, perhaps. I don't know. And certainly a marker, those yellow markers that we use. You've got one that is clearly marked with an N on it that demonstrates north, right? Okay. So you take a photograph of that and it gives you kind of an orientation. So I'd want to document it in place and really handle this thing very gingerly. Package it very carefully.
Gingerly is not how this thing got handled.
I don't think I would want to remove the towel until I got it to a very secured area. I would just want to gently lift it up, place it into probably a gun box.
Secured area meaning not at the crime, not at the scene.
I don't want to remove it. I don't want to change or alter anything in it, on it. And by this time, they already know you're talking about a firearm-related death, right? I mean, how many times you walk through the woods? Oh, look, there's a 30-06 rifle laying on there. You can kind of make this kind of logical connection. So you want to touch this thing, you want to handle it like it's radioactive, right? You don't want to disrupt it in any way. You want to preserve it, photograph, document, measure it. You want to measure it from all different points and then secure it and then be able to have very specific accountability to who is in this chain of custody and where did it go? Did it go to an evidence room or did they drive it directly to the state crime lab and hand it off to a technician?
So the testimony was that it was unwrapped at the scene. It was made safe at the scene, meaning they pulled the bolt, unloaded it, and then photographed it. Yeah. That's when they photographed it.
I understand the making safe thing because, you don't know, but those procedures or the steps would have to be specifically annotated. I'd have to know who made it safe. I'd have to know what their experience is with this weapon or weapon platform. What areas of the weapon talking to the person.
Yeah, Auto Hoax, and I did a show where I showed some of those different pictures and talked about that. But I will we'll go through that again one day because I'm convinced that the original picture of the gun and the more recent pictures of the gun, it's not the same.
No,
not the same rifle.
No. Yeah, no.
That
crazy.
Made it secure. Where did you touch this weapon? You know, how many points of contact are there on the surface from your hands to this? Were you gloved when you handled it? Now, I'm assuming that they would have been gloved. Okay, that's a big assumption. And I'm not talking about the gloves,
especially with this case,
that you wear, that a beat cop would wear, the leather gloves that kind of protect their hands. You know, I'm talking about, did you latex up? Okay, do you have actual gloves on? Who else touched it? Did other people come over and inspect it? Because there's a problem with looky-loos many times with other police officers. Hey, let me see.
Well, one of the interesting things I noticed about it was there were two photographs that were released of it. One was in the dark, and it was bolt side up, or bolt handle side up, and the other was in the light, and it was handle side down. So, is that even remotely normal that it would be outside in an evidence box at the scene in daylight and at night?
2 different times a day does not make sense to me. I mean,
well, and it was found like in the evening, right? Like in dusk, like
yeah,
right
exactly.
Dark, huh?
It was found at 5:30 or something like that. I mean, I don't remember the exact time, but seemed like it would have only gotten darker from, at best. But there wouldn't have been a whole lot of time there, to have. I don't know. It's weird. Doesn't seem like it would be there, for the sun to change that much between pictures. Yeah. It seems like they would have taken pictures of both sides at the same time and been done with the pictures.
Yeah.
But
and just generally gotten it out of there as quick as possible, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a piece of evidence, you film it, where's it at, and then get it, into storage.
Again, though, it's weird. I got to keep saying it, even though at this point it's not weird.
And
it all depends on. Yeah, that's a good point, Baron. I think that it all depends on how long it took them relative to available daylight, how long it took them to process the scene and collect this. Well,
they found it like 2 hours before sunset.
Yeah. So how long did it take them to process it and remove it from the scene? But when I say process it, I'm not talking about like checking for DNA or dusting or anything like that stuff. I'm just talking about processing it more accurately. How long did it take them to document it? Like the position of it, orientation to spatial orientation, directional orientation, all these sorts of things that you have to consider. And then the surrounding area. And then where did you clear this weapon? Did you clear it physically where you recovered it from? Did you walk back to your squad car and clear it there? How many people watched you clear it? If you cycled that round out of there, which, we've been told that the spent round the casing was still in place. And I have to know this because if you have ejected this round, now you've created new marks on the surface of the casing. You have
yeah, it's something that a lot of people wouldn't consider, but even clearing the gun would add marks and stuff to the ejector marks and extractor marks.
Yeah, without question.
Yep, that's crazy. I did not realize how much of this thing was left, and I did not realize how late it had gotten. Do you want to, instead of starting with a different subject? Well, it's not a different subject, but do you want to jump on for a little while tomorrow, maybe? Or what do you got going on tomorrow?
I possibly can. What time are you thinking?
Let's see. I don't know. Sometime tomorrow evening, about the same time, maybe later, whatever. Just
I should be able to. Just get in touch with me.
Jump on for an hour or something.
I don't know what plans, if any, I have tomorrow, but just get a hold of me, and I certainly will if I'm available.
Well, I know it's going on 2.5 hours, and so I know you're probably getting close to being ready. Yeah. And it looks like we're starting to lose a few. So
yeah, that's fine. Oh,
we have gone pretty long.
How many did we get up to tonight?
I seen 140 or so, something like that, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome, man. You've been killing it out here, man. I hate to like jump in after 2 weeks and like pick up on your coattails. So
no shit. It has been good though. I think I finally got back. I think I finally made the algorithm happy again because it was getting up there around 100 every time. And then I took off a whole week to go play baseball, and then when I got back, it was just not the same. But yeah, got 200. I think 251 was what I had yesterday morning. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, yeah, dude, I think it shouldn't be an issue for me to hop on with you tomorrow. Just shoot me a text.
If tomorrow's an issue, I don't care doing it Sunday, but I do know
yeah,
that you wanted to
Sunday
talk.
might be, but yeah, just shoot me a text,
Yeah,
man.
we'll figure
I'll
it
let
out.
you know, and then yeah, everyone who's here, we'll make a post or
Yeah, y'all
let
guys be
y'all know
watching
since
for a
we-
pop-up live.
Yeah, yeah, and if we have any, if we plan it a little bit early, I'll actually make a post, like community post, so that people,
Well, I know you had some stuff you wanted to talk about, and we ain't really sat down and just gone over stuff in a day or two. So I'd like to talk about it too. So
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll think of some more stuff too, and we can sit down. Yeah, have a heart to heart tomorrow.
Yeah. Anybody that hears me talking right now, please make sure you're subscribed, and
Yeah,
go
me too.
subscribe
Yeah,
to
thank
Greg
y'all.
also. Definitely.
Yeah, thank y'all for supporting. Much appreciated.
Yes. Like the video if you have not, and if you're feeling generous, jump over and like his too.
Yeah, thank y'all, man. I appreciate it.
But yeah, lots of fun. Let me read these. Let me read these real quick before I forget and get out of here. Lizard with let's see that European money. Missed the
Thank you,
crew.
Lizard.
Yeah. Hadn't seen Lizard in a while. That one was
Yeah, I
yours,
haven't
Greg.
either, man. It's good to see him kicking.
Looks like you got you a new member.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I love Lizard, man. I'm glad he's with us. I'll try to do a member stream within the next week, so y'all keep your eyes peeled.
All right, let's see. Rio Gates, she gifted a membership to somebody.
And you want to start a text stream with us?
Yeah, yep. I'm gonna hook that up. Yeah, definitely gonna hook that up because
good to have you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you, Rio, for the membership.
See you, Rick. God bless, man. Thank you very much.
There you go. I think that one was for you.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm going to be back regular schedule, so thank y'all for being patient, and we're getting all the kinks worked out here, but everything's moving right along. So God bless and thank y'all.
All right, and
thank you, Debbie and Susan.
Gotta love Miss Debbie. All right, Ray Maria, 800 joules. Turn it up.
What are the
absolutely.
Joules? What are the joules?
So the joules, I don't understand it like completely, but I do know the joules. You get so many of them, and they turn into rubies, and then I think rubies are like oh God, what are they a piece? Like 10 cents a piece or something? I don't know. I had like $1,400. I think it was. I know it's $14. I believe it was 1,400 rubies, something like that. It converts to money. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's hard to do the head math on, but it does convert to money. So.
Okay.
I appreciate that, Ray Maria, and hey, I hope you subscribed. If not, make sure you do that.
Yeah, subscribe to Adam for sure.
Yeah, and Greg also for sure.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Kate Girl, 440 joules, UNC alert. Thank you very much, Kate Girl, and I hope also you subscribed and also subscribe to Greg. Let's see, got another one to you there. Looks like Miss Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it.
All right.
And I think real quick for everybody, I think I'm back to where I have 10 memberships I can gift for free through YouTube. So next live stream, keep your eyes peeled. Yeah. I'm probably going to use those if I'm correct and I have them. So if you don't have a membership and you want one,
I'm pretty sure you get 10 a month.
Next stream. Yeah.
Sweet. Heather P., thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. Whoever got one of those 5, make sure and thank Heather. Give her some love over those. Yes.
Good night.
Absolutely. Is Reginator out of here? Yep. All right, let's see. So we got, Erica Frankenstein. I can't give the necklace back. I already returned it to Fort Huachuca. That's a good one. That was great.
If you auction it, you have to split the proceeds with me and Adam.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. What was I going to say? Tamara Hey, don't forget, shoot me an email, please. I would love to talk to you more about that. And again, guys, anybody that hasn't,
See you,
please
Brett.
subscribe to both our channels. And yeah, be watching for a pop-up live. We may jump on tomorrow or Sunday for at least a little while.
Okay. Sounds good.
Go
to
over
me,
his
man.
go over his bullet points.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, man. It's good to see you, brother. And
Yeah,
just
good to
shoot me
see
a
you.
text.
All right, buddy. I'll do it.
All right,
Guys.
man. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, guys.
Okay.
We'll see y'all later. Much love, and yeah, hopefully we'll see y'all tomorrow or Sunday.
All right, brother. God bless, man. We'll see you. Have a
ya.
good weekend.
You too.
All right. Bye.
When the facts get twisted and the lies stack tall, my red, white, and blue heart starts with answering the call. Question everything. Don't swallow